The Philadelphia Eagles lead the NFC in rushing as Wilbert Montgomery has put together 3 straight 100-yard days, including last week's 144 yards. The Eagles also have the top-ranked passer in the NFC in Ron Jaworski, who's thrown 7 touchdown passes and completed 59% of his tosses. The New England Patriots won their last 2 games the last minute of play, and the man to get the job done was quarterback Steve Grogan, who last week scored the winning touchdown with 31 seconds left to play. 2 teams with 3-2 records, the Eagles versus the Patriots. Welcome to Foxborough, Massachusetts, and a beautiful fall afternoon in Schaefer Stadium, the home of the New England Patriots, who have a 3-2 record, playing host to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 3-2 and have won their last 3 in a row. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, along with Hank Stram. Hank, we have 2 teams who are rushing the ball very effectively, but also 2 teams that keep the rush from going very well. Something's got to give.
Well, the other thing about these 2 teams, you know, the Philadelphia Eagles lead the league in possession times at 56 minutes a game. New England is second with 55. Now, a lot of people think it's going to be a taffy pull, but I think it's going to be a very exciting football game. I really do.
The Eagles have been a surprise, Hank.
They have been, and, you know, every time I see them play, and I don't want people to misconstrue this point, but, you know, they're never as impressive, I think, as far as the overall ability and skill is concerned, but I'm very impressed with the way they play. I think Dick Vermeil has really done a remarkably outstanding job with this young football team.
All right, let's go now to the field and get this game underway. The Philadelphia Eagles have won the toss. They have elected to receive. Getting ready to kick off, and the ball is blown off the tee. And they have a new kicker, David Posey. The first time is kicking for the Patriots. They just activated him yesterday, replacing Nick Lowry, who was not getting good distance on the kickoffs. That's Posey, a former University of Florida standout, a 9th-round draft pick a year ago for San Francisco, and he kicks it a little bit short. Going to be brought out. This is Billy Campfield, a rookie from Kansas. He's out to the 30, and Campfield returns the ball to the 34-yard line. And the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 3-2, will look this way on that offensive line. Stan Walters playing with a bad ankle, but what a player he is, and the veteran Woody Peoples up front. They are moving him out. Harold Carmichael, who's caught a pass in 85 consecutive games, along with Smith and Krefley. And back in the backfield, the leading passer in the NFC, Ron Jaworski, along with Wilbert Montgomery and Mike Hogan.
You know, Gary, as well as they've run the ball, both teams, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a lot of play-action passes, especially on early downs. They might come off the bus throwing the football.
And from just short of the 35, the Eagles set it up. In motion comes Keith Krefley. Give to Wilbert Montgomery. An exciting performance that he's been. He's stopped by Mel Lunsford, the left side defensive end. Montgomery last week with 144 yards. He's averaging 5.2. That's the best in the NFC. There's Lunsford along with Hamilton and Bishop. Bishop playing in the place of the injured Julius Adams. Zabel, Nelson, the big man in the middle, the leading tackler. And look at the speed they have at the corners. And Claiborne along with Haynes. Second down now, and 8 yards to go. Ron Jaworski, who's proved he can direct his team and bring them from behind. He did it last week. There's a quick pitch to Montgomery, to the 40. Montgomery's got the first down. He fumbled the ball.
Fumble.
Steve Nelson's picked it up. Nelson's got it for the Patriots. And so the first turnover game. And New England, after the hit by Claiborne, coming up with it.
It was a misdirection play with a fullback faking straight ahead. Montgomery going into a nice seam, but he gets a good hit there by Bedoin. The ball is knocked loose and recovered by number 57, Steve Nelson. First and 10, 45 for the New England Patriots. A big break for New England.
He's a good one. Vastly underrated, the leading tackler for this New England team. And so, as an end result, New England has the football at the 45-yard line of Philadelphia, just underway. They have Jackson split to the top of the screen, along with Morgan. Steve Grogan gives up to Andy Johnson. Johnson fumbles the ball, and I believe Philadelphia's got it back. And
Philadelphia's got it.
How about that, Hank?
That's amazing, isn't it? They just run a basic straight-ahead play with zone blocking to the left side. There you see Cunningham going through the hole, but he didn't block anybody. And the ball is jarred loose from Andy Johnson. Philadelphia has possession, 1st and 10.
How about that? 2 turnovers right at the start.
Yeah.
That was Berge that made the hit.
Who, Berge? Yeah.
Okay. You know what I need. Good shape. Can you work back? Can we move? Just move in there.
Cunningham went right through there and didn't block anybody.
Can you work under those circumstances? Okay.
Which one you get?
The Spirit of New England, the name of the Patriot cheerleaders. We've played just a little over a minute, and both teams now have turned the football over. The Eagles have the ball at their own 40-yard line. Jaworski has Hogan and Wilbert Montgomery as the running backs behind him. In motion comes Kenny Payne. And this is Mike Hogan. Nothing doing, and Hank, neither one of these teams have given up very much rushing yardage this year.
No, they're both very hard to run against, and one thing that you have to be aware of when you play teams like Philadelphia and also New England, because they react and read and pursue so well, you have to run counters. You have to run some misdirection plays along with it, get them going one way and come back another, because they react so well to what they see that you just can't consistently run the straight-ahead stuff and hope to survive.
They picked up maybe a half yard at most on that play. 2nd down, 9.5 to go. Just underway, 13-14 to go, 1st quarter. Jaworski gives up the middle to Hogan, trying to strip the ball from him. And Hogan to the 44 before Steve Nelson made the stop once again. Nelson already with a fumble recovery in this game. A flag on the play, and it's going to be holding against Philadelphia. You know, both these teams also, Hank, have been slow starters. They seemingly come on in the 4th quarter.
Yes, they do. They really play like gangbusters and are very productive in the 4th quarter. One thing that you have to be able to do against the New England team, if you're going to run at them especially, you must be able to block Ray Hamilton, number 71, the guy in the nose. And on the other side of the ball, you have to block Bill Berge, because he's going to get his nose.
Number 72, 2nd down.
That would be against Wade Key, the guard who was holding on the play.
And as I mentioned, the other thing from an offensive standpoint as far as New England is concerned, you have to be able to block Berge all the time, because he's going to be in your hair all afternoon if you don't.
So penalty of holding. It's 2nd down, 20 yards to go. They've jumped into a 4-man front now, they being the New England Patriots. Jaworski still has Montgomery and Hogan behind him. Gives off to Montgomery across the 35. And the 2nd-year man from Abilene Christian is to the 38-yard line, which is going to bring up 3rd down and still 12 yards to go.
That's a trap. That's a trap inside. And he has some good running room, Wilbur Montgomery, and he makes a nice gain on a passing situation.
Hank, you know, when you got a guy like Montgomery who you think can break him, who's been playing so well, those linemen just give it a little extra something.
Yeah, no question about that. You know, they think anytime this guy can get his hands on the football, he might be able to gin any place in the field. And so, you know, they're going to block that much harder.
Be ready to what?
Gin.
Gin, okay. 3rd down. Let's make it 13 to go. Jaworski dumps it off to Montgomery. Montgomery the 40 to the 45, and he's not going to get the 1st down. Some excellent running that time by Montgomery. Raymond Claiborne, the left side cornerback, flying up to make the stop. And it's going to bring up 4th down.
It's a spud screen to Montgomery to the right side. They get a good rush inside. Schote, number 55, Schote, has got a shot at him, but misses. Kosnick also has a chance and misses, but they finally make the tackle. But he doesn't make the necessary yardage for the 1st down. They're forced to kick.
And coming in, the kick will be Rick Ingalls. He's 7th in the NFC, just under a 40-yard average. Back deep, Stanley Morgan. Morgan going to let it go a little bit short, though, as it's caught further up the field.
There's a flag on the play.
Yes, there is. That was Dick Kahn who caught the ball short at the 25. So Bob Frederick into the Eagle man down the field on that coverage. Well, let's see. That was not the kind of kick I'm sure the Eagles would like to have. They might refuse that penalty. That punt was only 27 yards in distance. There's Dick Kahn, number 22, who fielded that last punt. And I think New England's going to take the ball where they have it.
Ineligible member of the kicking team downfield refused. First down.
You know, the kicking game for the Eagles has really been an interesting story, and we'll develop that when we come back. As we have a timeout on the field with 12:04 to go in the first quarter. No score from Schaefer Stadium.
Is there any way I can be of help to you?
You can just point out.
Do you want me to point out every play?
Yeah, good. If you will. Yeah, great. Great, George.
I think it's going to snow here after a while. Yeah.
Yeah, everything all right? Going all right?
Okay. Not a lot of room up here, but I guess you can keep shouldering through fine. You know, Dick Vermeil has really been able to be a good judge of character, good judge of talent. He's put his team together. As we look at the offensive line now for New England, there's Morgan, Francis, Jackson. Boy, what a core this team has. Grogan, Johnson, Cunningham. But one area that he hasn't been able to solidify is punting. He's been moving his punters around all year long, and Ingalls had last time with only a 27-yard kick. Here's Sam Cunningham. He's got a first down. He's all the way to the 45-yard line. Cunningham, who's been playing with a bad knee, he only has 139 yards for the year, gains 20 on that one.
That time they had a slot formation to the left, sent the receiver, the slot man, in motion to the right. Look at the fine blocking straight ahead by John Hanna, number 73. Great running by Cunningham. Good blocking downfield by Morgan, number 86. That's what it takes. The outside receivers, for your game to be effective, they have to block downfield, and they did a good job there.
Reggie Wilkes making the tackle. He's starting in place of Drew Mahalik, who's having those allergy problems. And they come right up the middle with Cunningham again, and he's to the midfield stripe at the 50. And there defensively, assist trunk, Johnson, Hairston up front. This team's produced 14 sacks thus far for Philadelphia. Bill Berge, the leader of that linebacking core, and Wilkes, a brilliant rookie out of Georgia Tech, playing in place of Mahalik. Back deep, they've had a lot of injuries, but the starters are back in there today. Sanders ended up playing a corner last week, I should say, due to a lot of injuries. Second down and 6 yards to go. Cunningham again, and the big guy's getting a lot of work. This time he's to the 47-yard line. Cunningham last year, what a year he had. 1,015 yards. He was fifth in the AFC. And if he gets healthy, what a difference he can make in your rushing game.
You know, that time they ran the very same play with Hanna, number 73, pulling around to the outside, but the defensive end, Carl Hairston, did a much better job of playing and responding on that play than it did the previous time, along with Manny Sistron.
Third down and 3. Don Calhoun has checked in, replacing Cunningham in the backfield. Parent passing situation at the 10-18 mark. Both these teams have been staying on the ground. Here's the first pass by Grogan. A little bit short. Intended for Stanley Morgan, who has 8 catches this year, and that'll bring up a fourth down. And Grogan goes off. I guess there's been one rap on Grogan. He's been a little inconsistent. He hits the streaks.
You know, sometimes as you watch him play and throw the ball, he throws the ball very poorly as far as his feet are concerned. You know, you can't throw the ball with just your arm. You have to throw it with your legs, and sometimes he's not ready to throw with his legs, and as a result, he'll throw a lot of bad balls, and that was a great illustration of it on that last play.
Well, here's the guy you know very well, Hank, Gerald Wilson.
See if he kicks to the left. He should kick to the left because he's a right-footed kicker. I mentioned this so many times, but it's a very important point. No, he's going to kick right, I guess.
Coming up is John Shira, and Shira fields it and moves it to the 20-yard line. He has people hanging. Shira, Icewater has feigns on that one, brings it out to the 20-yard line, and Philadelphia has the football. We have no score. 10 minutes, 2 seconds left to be played in quarter number 1. It was only a 33-yard kick. That's good. Super. That's what I wanted. Long gains, but give those to me, too. You need a speed card so you can look to find those guys. Oh, you got one. Okay.
Yeah, everything's good. Everything all right down there? Good. What about Jerry?
With Hank Stram, I'm Gary Bender. We have 10:02 to go in this first quarter, and this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, other use of this telecast without the consent of the New England Patriots and the National Football League is prohibited. 33-yard kick that time by Gerald Wilson. And from the 20-yard line, Philadelphia sets it up. Jaworski gives off to Mike Hogan. Steve Nelson fills in the middle again, along with Mel Lunsford. And Nelson has been all over the field today, and that's anticipated. He has 3 interceptions this year, and the leading tackler with 41 coming into the game.
You know, we just saw Jerry Wilson kick the ball. He's the only punter in the history of the National Football League to kick the ball more than 1,000 times. He just made his 1,036 punt on that last kick. That's a lot of kicking.
He was on the all-time AFL team.
That's most than most alumni do.
2nd down and 7. Jaworski. Good protection. Far side, Keith Prefley. Prefley's got the first down. And Prefley to the 35. Steve Zabel eventually ran him out. And that's the 11th catch of the year for this Iowa State product.
It's a very high percentage pass. The tight end just goes out in the flat. Good protection. He sets up nicely, throws the ball to the outside to Krepfle, number 84. He makes the catch and is finally knocked out of bounds by Claiborne, number 26.
And that's a 12-yard pickup to the 35-yard line. And Jaworski, boy, what a job he's doing this year. 7 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions, hitting just under 60% of his passes. Hey, wait a minute. Mel Lunsford just teed off. I don't know if it was brought upon the offensive line by Keith Krepfle or not, but he really got belted. Illegal procedure. It is against Philadelphia, and Lunsford picked that up in a hurry.
He's ought to be a couple of inches shorter after that hit.
You know, it's a tough enough game without getting hit before the ball's even snapped.
Yeah, that's right. You wind up shaking the rosin out of your hair if you're not careful.
Offense, number 84, false start, first down.
Boom. So it's going to bring up now 1st and 15 from the 30-yard line. They'll bring Carmichael and Payne, you see them, to the bottom of the screen. Jaworski giving off to Montgomery. And the ball is loose again. And New England's got it. It's unbelievable. That's twice now that Philadelphia's turned the ball over here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's an inside play to the halfback. Look at this. And he's trying to run on the other side with a man on the nose. Isn't able to do it, runs right into traffic. Winds up coughing up the football. New England has possession. 1st and 10.
It wasn't really a tough hit. It was just kind of he never got with the football. He got separated in there. And now from the 32-yard line, the Patriots have a golden opportunity. Grogan splits out the top of the screen. Morgan, and now Russ Francis, the tight end, was in the wrong place. Here's a gift. Andy Johnson, he's going to throw. Morgan. Herman Edwards broke it up. Herman Edwards and John Shira both over there. But Morgan was open on that play.
This is a counter play again. Both guards are pulling. He stops. Johnson stops and throws. He delivered a little bit too late. He had a jump on him, but he delivered a little bit too late. And as a result, they were able to make a great play. Herman Edwards, number 46, was able to make a great play. See, he had to wait for the ball. By the time the ball came down, Edwards came over in good shape and did a great job of defending against that pass.
Johnson was a college quarterback, so that's the reason he can throw the ball. And Stan Cunningham now gets a couple of yards inside the 30. Johnson played quarterback, so he can throw the football, but he's mentioned just a little bit late on that one. Now it's a third down and still 7 to go. Calhoun, 44, comes into the backfield picture. And leaving will be Cunningham. Calhoun has been a great utility man, a swing sub for this team. Look at that score. Pittsburgh still unbeaten, 3-0. 21-yard field goal by Roy Girella. About 5 minutes left in that first quarter.
See if they try to do something with Francis here. He's away from the slot formation on the right side.
Grogan, good protection over the middle. Andy Johnson. And Johnson, his forward progress going to be very close to that first down. He's in the vicinity of the 22.
Andy Johnson just comes underneath. He watches the linebacker, slips underneath, and he's wide open. Bill Berge, number 66, is in there to make the play. Is just short of the first down. Looks like about a half a yard short.
That's John Bunting, number 95, that's been shaken up on the play for Philadelphia, so we have a delay in the action. It appears as though they're about a half yard short of the first down, so it's a fourth down. The field goal situation, well, New England doesn't know what to expect from their field goal kicking team. Posey hasn't kicked all year for them.
You know, the other thing is a basic rule of thumb, Gary, is in this situation, most coaches feel that if you have a yard or more in this area of the field, that you probably would kick a field goal. If it's less than the yard, then in all probability you'll go for the first down. Let's see what their rule of thumb is.
Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Central and Pacific, the CBS Sports Spectacular. And the USTA Women's Indoor Tennis Championship will have none other than Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert. Well, what a tournament that should be. It's going to be held in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And then that'll be followed by the Jockey Club Gold Cup, the 60th running. That'll be live coverage from Belmont Park and the world's strongest men. The second event is going to be the Steel Bar, believe that. Bruce Wilhelm, John Matusak of the Raiders, Jim Kolb of the Steelers will be in that. And then we'll keep you updated on the baseball as it continues to unfold down the stretch. That's next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Well, Bunting getting up very slowly. This guy's been a very fine football player. Bunting, seventh-year man from North Carolina. He had a lot of hamstring trouble in the preseason. Didn't play a lot in the preseason. As the Jets now leading the Buffalo Bills 7-0. Jets playing, of course, without Richard Todd. So it's going to be fourth down. And the Patriots are going to go for it. They have now Pete Brock in there as a blocker, an extra blocker from the tight end spot. They're all in tight. And here comes Cunningham. He fumbles the ball. And everybody's scrambling for it. That is a specialty of Cunningham. He is probably the best in the NFL at diving over at people.
You know, one thing that you must be aware of anytime that you dive over the top, you really have to watch how high. He gets great elevation, but he has to, one thing that's very important when you jump over the top, you have to have good possession of the ball. You got to keep it in tight, close to your body, because once you swing it away from your body, this is what can happen. You can lose it.
Well, evidently that ball had been blown dead. They're now measuring to see if they got the first down. It is still New England's football, but did they turn it over on down?
I think they made the first down.
Yes, they did. They're measuring. They did. First down, New England. Cunningham already with 34 yards rushing in this game on 5 carries. Detroit, hey, this is a surprise, leading Washington 3-0. Well, that Redskin team's for real.
Well, you know, as emotional as they were in the Dallas game last week, they're going to have to be careful that they don't have a letdown.
from the 20-yard line. Give to Andy Johnson. And Johnson picks up 5 to the 15-yard line. They really missed number 32 last year. He was hurt out the entire 77 season with a preseason knee injury.
Watch this sweep to the right side, and watch number 61, Sam Adams. Watch the block he makes out in front. Watch this. He really gives him a shot. You don't see the full impact of the blow, but he made a great block out in front for Andy Johnson to pick up a nice gain on the play. Bill Berge made the tackle, number 66.
And Berge's name will be called a few times before the afternoon's over.
Yeah, I don't think you even have to look for numbers. Just say Berge made the tackle.
2nd down and 5. Calhoun has come in, replacing Cunningham, and this is Calhoun with the football. And he's not going to go very far. Good reaction that time by 78, Carl Hairston, who came over. Hairston playing in his 3rd year. He was a 7th-round draft pick for the Eagles, and they're going to give him a yard, and that's all, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 4.
You know, Leon Gray that time was blocking him. John Hanna came around the outside. Leon Gray was to block Hairston, but Hairston really made a great play, number 78, the defensive right end, and stuffed the play for just about a yard gain.
We have a new picture, a new figure in the backfield now. Horace Ivory has checked in. He's the speedster from Oklahoma. In motion comes Harold Jackson. The sun breaks through the clouds. Grogan gonna roll. And couldn't come up with it. It's Horace Ivory, the guy who just checked into the game. Ivory had his hands on it, but he couldn't contain it.
Yeah, watch it. It's a rollout pass here. He's got a lot of room here. Burnham, number 67, got a shot at him, and they evidently call it roughing the passer. Let's see what they do.
Well, that was Burnham, who's probably the best rusher in that forward wall, number 67, and so they're going to step it off now.
Yep, they put him in on passing situations. He got a good rush, but he got a late hit on the quarterback, and it cost him a 1st down.
Let's listen.
67 on the defense, personal foul, 1st down and goal.
Well, that certainly changes the complexion of things. It would have brought up a 4th down, and now they have a 1st and goal just outside the 7-yard line. 6:40 to go. 1st quarter. Grogan to Andy Johnson. Johnson inside the 5 to about the 4.5. Johnson, 6 foot, a 204-pounder, an all-purpose performer for this Patriot team.
A basic sweep. Shelby Jordan, number 74, blocking at the point of attack, along with John Hanna pulling, number 73. He ran inside and got it down to about the 4-yard line. Was tackled there by John Sanders, number 26, along with Frank Lemaster.
Excuse me, Hank. 2nd and goal now. Don Westbrook has checked in at a wide receiver spot. Harold Jackson comes out. Westbrook, the top of the screen, along with Morgan. Give up the middle, Calhoun. He's in. Don Calhoun makes it a 6-0 game. Calhoun, who earlier this year had 143 yards against the St. Louis Cardinals.
It was a slot formation to the left. They ran behind Leon Gray and John Hanna, number 70 and 73. Ran at Hairston, the defensive right end. And they did a good job of knocking him off the ball. Don Calhoun, 44, ran it in for the touchdown.
Calhoun, that is his front of the year, cracking in. Guy last year had to play a lot because of the injury to Johnson, and did a good job, gaining 721 yards. Point after attempt by Posey. Dick Kahn to hold a slap kick, but it's good anyway. Kind of a squibber that got through there. And the New England Patriots at the 5:55 mark of this 1st quarter play have taken a 7-0 lead over the Eagles.
Almost blocked it. He just missed.
Yeah.
He got a big hand up there.
So you just can't turn the ball.
No. Make a punt when you get through.
Coming back, you take it.
Huh? Okay. You know, Dennis Harrison on that last extra point, number 68, he's 6'8", 275. He almost blocked that kick.
And he almost got it. It's Posey who added the point after kicks off. This is going to be James Feddersen bringing the ball out. Feddersen up to the 30, and he's almost to the 35-yard line. Feddersen, second-year man from North Carolina. And the Eagles will come out with a good field position. That was a 34-yard return by Feddersen. Feddersen's looked pretty good. He hasn't played all that much, but when he does, he's contributed. And now the Eagles, who have turned the ball over twice, and one of them leading to that go-ahead touchdown.
Jim McAllister, number 37, made that tackle.
McAllister, a former Philadelphia Eagle. Just short of the 35-yard line. Jaworski, quick pitch, Montgomery. Montgomery, you can see how quickly he gets to the hole. He's to the 40-yard line. Steve Zabel, a former Philadelphia Eagle, able to make the stop. And a pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
That was a counter sweep, the same play that they ran early in the game where Montgomery fumbled. They send the fullback inside, toss the ball to the outside with the specific purpose of holding the inside linebackers with the fake of the fullback inside. The guards pull. That time Woody Peoples, number 69, pulled. Wade Key pulled. And they picked up about 5 yards on that play.
Raymond Hamilton goes limping off the field, and Richard Bishop replaces him at the nose tackle spot. On a 2nd and 5, Montgomery again. Look out. What reaction that time by New England, and in particular, Doug Beaudoin, who came up, the former Minnesota standout.
Yeah, it was a sledgehammer play off to the right side. Wade Key, number 72, pulling. Beaudoin, number 27, came up and read it terrifically well and made a great play.
So they lose some yardage, and it'll go to a 3rd down and 8 for Philadelphia. As now they make some changes defensively. Ray Kostick has come in at a linebacking spot. Sam Hunt will check out in an apparent passing situation. 3rd and 8, 4:22 to go in this first quarter. The Patriots with a 7-0 lead. Jaworski got protection. Flag thrown on the play as Kreppley makes the catch. He has the first down, but a flag went into the air just about the time the ball arrived there.
And
over there.
That play was made possible because they doubled Carmichael, who was split to the left side, number 17. The tight end was wide open. Jaworski really set up nicely that time, delivered the ball well, good stroke, good delivery, good RPMs, and a big play for the Philadelphia Eagles.
The penalty is against New England. And Kreppley now with 2 catches. And there was an example, Hank, of the arm of Jaworski. Let's listen now to Bob Frederick.
Illegal contact. Defense number 26 refused. First down, completed pass.
That's Claiborne who was guilty, but Jaworski can throw the football.
You know, and the other nice thing about Jaworski, he's at a stage in his career where he's throwing to the right. Double on the left side. He wisely threw to the single cover side, and he hit the tight end Kreppley for a nice. They got to throw more on first down, though. They can't just keep running the ball and expect to just throw on 3rd.
At the 47.5 now of New England, a first down for the Eagles. This is Montgomery, and not a lot of running room. He gets a couple to the 45. Steve Nelson, clog in the middle, along with Sam Hunt. This team in the AFC, the Patriots, is 2nd against the rush. Is 6th overall in defense. And there is what Ron Jaworski is doing in 1978. I think another thing that Jaworski has proved, that down the stretch, he's really been tough on the firing line. He's a solid player, and I think he's got a long future ahead of him in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's an excellent quarterback, and I'm more impressed with him every time I see him. He's playing with a lot more poise and really also plays with a lot of animation for a quarterback.
2nd down and 8. The protection is there again. Far side, Carmichael. Nope, they say he's out of bounds. Tim Fox over there, the free safety, really belted the 6'8" receiver.
You know, that time they doubled again. They doubled Carmichael with a short man and a deep man, but there was room between the two defensive backs. And look at Jaworski, rifles it right through the seam between the two people. Beautiful throw, except that it goes out of bounds and winds up being an incompleted forward pass. Beautiful throw, though, by Jaworski.
That's one case where Carmichael probably has size 12s, and half of them were out of bounds, or he might have been in on that play. Thus far, Jaworski 3 for 4, 38 yards in passing, and we come to another third down. Jaworski on the third. That time, far side. And Hogan is hit hard. He's going to be short of the first down because Steve Zabel and also Steve Nelson collided with him. And they weren't going to let him get to that first down marker.
They really made a great open field tackle. They're under control so much of the time. Now, the other thing with that pass, had he thrown it right at the numbers, he would have been able to get upfield just a little bit quicker, Gary. But as a result, he had to leap for the ball and reach for it. It was off stride a little bit, and it kept him from getting the necessary yardage for the first down.
So little things that make a lot of difference.
Exactly right.
4th down and 2, and Ingalls will come in and kick. Mike Haynes goes back deep now for the Patriots.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see some kind of a gimmick from this punt formation. They have a play where they give it to LeMasters. They did this against New Orleans for a big play. I'm sure that New England will be very well aware of that, but we can look for it in this situation.
We got a delay of game coming up. 5 yards. They took too much time. So they'll step 5 yards off, and the line of scrimmage now will be the 45-yard line. Ingalls will now be kicking 5 yards further up the field. Now they make a change because of that. It's interesting. The Patriots are changing all their personnel because of that penalty. Why would they do that?
Well, they were concerned about the run possibly, and now there's no concern about it. Evidently, they feel they're going to kick it, and I'm sure they will with this down and distance situation.
Oh, they brought in almost.
There it is.
To LeMasters. LeMasters gonna just about make it. I don't know. Very close.
I think he just missed it.
Ray Kostick drilled him out. Isn't that interesting? They took all that time and they didn't call the play off. They still went with the fake.
Yes, they did. Well, that's an automatic on his part. The ball is snapped. He reads the defense, and if he thinks he can make the yardage, he calls the automatic. But this time, Kostick, 55, I think deprived him of the opportunity to make that first down. I think he just missed it. We'll see. Wait for the measurement.
Well, a little shuffling around, a little strategy there. First, they waited too long to get the play off. They had 5 yards called. Then the Patriots changed all their defensive people.
Yeah.
The Eagles stuck with their play, and I don't think they made it. They did not.
You have to give credit to 55, Kostick. He made a great tackle in the open field, but he made sure he didn't make the necessary yardage for the first down. And a very bright, intelligent play by Kostick.
You know, this play worked against New Orleans earlier this year.
Yes, it did, and we saw it against the Saints. But it's an automatic on his part. If he feels that they're outmanned to that side, he can automatically call the play. He evidently thought he could make the yardage, but Kostick really made a great play.
Kostick is a tough performer on their special teams, and he did a job then. So they turn the ball over, and from the 39-yard line, the Patriots have it. And they have a 7-0 lead. 2:14 to go. First quarter, first down pass by Grogan. Over the middle, Stanley Morgan. And Morgan turns it on. Morgan is maybe one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. A first down to the 29.
A beautifully executed play-action pass. They faked a sweep. They faked a sweep to the right side. Watch it. The right guard, Sam Adams, pulled like it was a sweep. Grogan really stayed in the pocket nicely. There he hits Morgan across the middle. He makes a good move, starts to go upfield, and is finally tackled by John Sanders, number 26. Great play by the New England team, and they have to do that more. They have to throw the ball more on first down.
32-yard pickup to the 29-yard line of Philadelphia. This is Calhoun, and Calhoun just short of the 25. Calhoun picking up 3 yards. Will bring up a second down and 7.
John Sanders, number 26, made the play again.
Sanders, a former New England Patriot. Eagles picked him up for an 8th-round draft pick a couple of years back. You know, you look at the personnel of the Patriots, they may have as much speed in the game in those wide receiver positions.
Yeah, you know, the nice thing about their team, too, they have excellent balance. They have good size, and they got good speed and good ability. And I really think they're one of the talented teams, most talented teams in the National League at this time.
So it's a 2nd down and 7. And up the middle they go with Andy Johnson, and he takes a real hit that time. Good reaction that time by number 66, Bill Berge. When he hits people, you can feel it up in the press box.
He uses the shoulder pads, I guarantee. He doesn't use the arms. He uses the shoulder pads and all the equipment that he wears because he's a good hitter. And it's just amazing how well he smells the ball and the anticipation he has to get to where it's going to be.
All NFC 4 straight years. And from the 25, it's a 3rd down and 5.
They have to run more counters and more misdirection plays against Berge because he's, with just straight vanilla plays, he's always where the ball is going.
That's Jackson, 29, in motion. Grogan on the 3rd down. Protection there. Francis, intended receiver. Russ Francis, a big 6'6" tight end. Bill Berge came flying up there.
That was a delay by the tight end. It was a slot formation to the left. They had 3 receivers out on the left side, and the tight end kind of delayed and then came across. But Berge read it nicely and knocked it down, number 66. Great play on his part.
Well, Posey now will attempt his first field goal in the National Football League. He's had some trials with Atlanta and Detroit, as well as San Francisco, but this is the first time he's kicked in a regular game, and this will be a 42-yard attempt. Dick Kahn to hold with 41 seconds left in this first quarter. Posey from 42 yards out. He got it. David Posey from the University of Florida hits his first attempt in the National Football League. And the New England Patriots have now taken a 10-0, 36 seconds left in this first quarter of play. So Posey under a lot of pressure, Hank. What a way to break in, huh?
Yeah, it's really, you know, the first kick, you're just happy to get the flaps up and get it up in the air. And he got it through there in good shape.
So he'll be kicking off now from the 35-yard line. Looking ahead, National Football League action on CBS. Detroit against Atlanta, Tampa Bay, the New York Giants, Washington, Philadelphia. Boy, that'll be a good one in Vet Stadium. Dallas against the St. Louis Cardinals. And then Los Angeles against Minnesota in the doubleheader games. And Hank, you and I will be out in San Francisco for the Saints and 49ers. Be sure now to consult your local listings for the games and times in your area. Kicking off, Posey. He hits a knuckleball, bouncing around. Picked up by Billy Campfield, and Campfield is to the 28-yard line. It's an effective kick. It wasn't a picturesque job, but he got it done.
You know, the coverage of both teams on specialty teams is very impressive, and this is something that you have to do a good job with. The specialty teams, you'll be involved in 32 plays approximately in every game, and so as a result, you better do a good job, and both teams are doing an excellent job in those areas.
10-0 our score with 26 seconds left to go in this first quarter. The Eagles have gambled on a 4th down. It didn't work. They turned the ball over twice, and they're down by 10. Jaworski, far side, Carmichael. And Carmichael now continues his streak. He's now caught a pass in 86 consecutive games. He goes out of bounds across the 35 to the 36. Claiborne making the tackle.
Yes, he just goes down. It's a square out pattern, and the important thing is he gets his head around quickly, makes the catch. Claiborne, number 26, knocks him out of bounds. But the important thing on that kind of a pass is the timing between the quarterback and the receiver. But the important thing with the receiver, he must get the head around quickly. The head is the heaviest part of the body, and if that goes first, everything else will follow.
86 straight games that Carmichael has caught a pass. That's remarkable. 2nd down and 3. Jaworski to Mike Hogan. Hogan, boy, he hit. Looked like he might get the corner turned in the first down. And Tim Fox, a former standout from Ohio State, who led the secondary in tackles a year ago, filled beautifully. And we go to a 3rd down.
And Steve Nelson, number 57, the linebacker, also filled in there nicely and did a good job.
And so that's the end of our first quarter of play from Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Our score after 15 minutes, the New England Patriots 10, Philadelphia nothing.
should have the water. Water would be better.
He may not have it. Try to get it.
Yeah, it's good. Nice going, guys. You got a screwdriver on you?
Why? Yes. John, are you talking to me?
Who's got scissors? Anybody got scissors? Scissors. Anybody got scissors?
Just barely, Bill.
Scissors.
I don't have it.
Yeah, we mentioned that. We already got it on. Yeah, we're having a little, you know, every once in a while we're hearing John talking to everybody else down there, too. Okay, no problem. What? I can't, Bill, I can't hear you. 5 for 6. No. Detroit leads Washington 6-0. Our score here, the Patriots with a 10-0 lead.
You know, Tim Fox, 48, and Doug Bedoin, the strong safety, 27, they really respond very quickly to what they see running-wise. As the game progresses, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a good play-action pass behind him for a big play.
Here's a 3rd and 1 as we start this second quarter of play. Steve Nelson reacting well, but the Eagles have picked it up as Cleveland Franklin has checked in at the fullback spot. And Franklin has the first down to the 40-yard line. Ron Jaworski in that first quarter hit 5 of 6 passes for 49 yards. So his percentage remains excellent. He came in here hitting 59% for the year. Boy, Pittsburgh continues to move. They lead the Falcons 10-0. Terry Bradshaw wasn't sure whether he's going to play today or not. But the way the Steelers are playing, from the 40-yard line. Jaworski, quick pitch to Hogan. Hogan finds a nice hole, and his forward progress will be to the 37. Tim Fox again coming up. Steve Nelson. Nelson already has a half dozen tackles in this game.
Boy, he's a great linebacker. He filled in nicely from the inside and made another great play. But they've got to throw the ball more on first down, Gary, I think, to keep the defensive team of the New England Patriots off balance a little bit. And I'm sure they'll do that as they go along. Wade Key made a good block on the play. Number 72.
2nd down and 7, a pickup of 3 by Hogan. Kenny Payne and Carmichael, the wide receivers for the Eagles. Jaworski looking the near side. It's Ken Payne. And Payne had Bedoin over there along with Claiborne. Kind of scissored him there. That would have been a tough pass to complete.
Yeah, you got to be a Houdini to get the ball in on that kind of a situation. They doubled them that time, and very much like they did Carmichael on the other side of the field a little while ago. But the difference between the spread between the deep back and the short back was not nearly as great. There wasn't an opening, and he was lucky that the ball wasn't intercepted because he threw right into coverage.
I guess if there's one area statistically that you'd want to kind of probe would be passing, because New England is 10th in that department in the AFC.
And Jaworski, of course, is the leading passer in the league.
7. Boy, they're coming up. They got everybody on the line of scrimmage, Hank. That's an interesting switch. Jaworski dumps it off. Carmichael can't hang on. Well, I don't believe I've seen that in a long time, where all 11 men came up on the line of scrimmage.
They had a total blitz, and they looked like they had 15 guys on defense the way they were coming through there. But I'm going to tell you something. Jaworski saw it, read it well, got the ball to the right guy, except he dropped it, and Bedoin makes a great play. He hit Carmichael. He was wide open. Any time that you have that kind of a blitz, it's feast or famine. They might get you one time, but the next time you might gin and go all the way. That should have been a reception.
I've seen that in college, but I don't believe I've seen the pros do that. Mike Haynes goes back deep for this kick from Rick Ingalls. And Ingalls hits a very high, fine kick. Haynes, well, I guess he didn't call for the fair catch. Eric Johnson wrestles him down. And so the ball, not going to be good field position for New England. They're going to be inside their own 15-yard line. So Ingalls with a fine kick, 45-yarder. And now the Patriots with a 10-0 lead have the ball. 13:29 to go before half. Fine, John. Did they really? Boy, I don't see how you can do that, Hank. Do you?
What?
Jump only 11 men on the line.
Well, they get surprise element. See, he throws. You don't have enough guys to block him.
But
you got
he
to
was
throw the ball
changing
quickly.
up there, wasn't he? Wasn't he changing on the line? I
Yeah.
think you would.
Sure. But
who is this guy here?
Super Patriots.
Super Patriot.
the puss head.
I'm going to tell you something.
And then,
You got to have courage to do that.
I said, he's a real puss head.
Very low. That is Super Patriot. And I don't know much more than that. And from the 13-yard line, the New England Patriots have the football. Grogan gives off to Cunningham. Cunningham across the 15 to the 17-yard line. And so New England now trying to get out of some unfavorable field position after that fine kick by Rick Ingalls. Second down and 7.
Very obvious that they like their plan evidently is to run to their left, to run at the defensive right end, Hairston, number 78. They've run that play quite a bit to the left side and succeeded in making a big gain several times, but Hairston has played it much better the last few times.
Reggie Wilkes also on the near side, backing up Hairston from that linebacker spot. Play action by Grogan. Over the middle, Andy Johnson. And Johnson very close to the first down. I think he rolled to the first down. To the 25-yard line, first down, New England. Johnson could do a little of everything.
A very well-conceived play, a play-action pass, and he throws the ball to Andy Johnson, who he faked to, and he's wide open in the middle. That play, of course, is designed to hold the linebackers, which it did in good shape on that strong side, and as a result, it provided Andy Johnson, number 32, to be wide open. Reggie Wilkes, number 51, made the tackle.
So from the 25, it's a first down. Grogan to the big guy again, Cunningham, 6'3", 230-pounder. He's short of the 30-yard line. Reggie Wilkes over to make the tackle once again. You're going to hear a lot about Wilkes. He was their first pick in the 3rd round out of Georgia Tech.
And that was a trap play, Gary Bender, with Sam Adams, number 61, the right guard, trapping to his left. And they pick up about 3 or 4 yards on the play.
We might note that Mike Osborne is playing that left side linebacker spot. Bunting was taken out earlier with an injury. Osborne is a rookie free agent out of Kansas State. He's number 57. 2nd and 6. Russ Francis, the big tight end, in motion. Grogan back, beautiful protection. And a catch is made by Stanley Morgan. And that'll be another New England first down, and Steve Grogan is really doing a job. That's a 13-yard pass completion.
John Sanders, number 26, made the play, but he had a lot of room. And Grogan really put it right at the numbers. A well-executed play.
So from the 43-yard line, it'll be a first down for New England, who started this drive inside their own 15. 10:54 to go before halftime. At half, go back to NFL Today to keep you posted on what's going on around the NFL. Grogan gives off to Cunningham. He's in trouble. Getting over there first is Frank LeMaster, and then help arrive. And they're going to lose some yardage on that play. Philadelphia is a tough team defensively, not only physically but mentally. And they have been so tough down the stretch in the 4th quarter because Dick Vermeil in the preseason probably conducted 2-a-day workouts longer than anybody in the NFL.
They ran the same play again on 1st and 10 at Hairston. He made a very good play along with Frank LeMasters, number 55, but he's doing a good job of containing that play much better than he did a little earlier in the game.
They lose a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11. Bottom of your screen, Don Westbrook has checked in. He replaced Jackson. Grogan back, looking to Morgan. Throws it shorter to Andy Johnson. What a catch by Johnson. Andy Johnson stretched as far as he could to come up with that one. At a 40-yard line of Philadelphia, it's a first down, and Johnson's having quite a day in receiving the football. 18-yard pickup on the play.
Mike Osborne and also LeMasters made the play. Watch again. Grogan back in the pocket. Just a pocket pass, but he sets up nicely. Look at the way he shifts his weight from right to left. Andy Johnson is wide open at number 32. He makes the catch. First down.
From the 40, give to Cunningham, and Cunningham to the 35-yard line, and just like that, he picks up 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5. Cunningham is the kind of guy, he's got to carry the ball, he's got to continually work. He thrives on work, and that's the kind of back you need, but he's had that injury problem and has been used very sparingly. Last year, he carried the ball 270 times.
Well, he's the kind of a back that, will make maybe a yard or 2 or 3 on one play and then go for 40 on the next, so you have to give it to him a lot, and they like to give him the ball a lot when he's healthy.
Grogan now 5 of 8 for 79 yards. He's throwing the ball very impressively. Play action by Grogan. Protection is there all the way to throw. He completes it to Russ Francis, and Francis is down immediately by LeMaster. But that will be a first down. Grogan showing very good poise on that play.
Yes, he had a lot of time, but what happened? He blew Jackson. Jackson was wide open coming across. He was looking downfield into the post. Jackson was wide open all the way across the field. He never did see him. Finally delivered the ball to Francis, but it would have been a touchdown or a big play had he been able to see Harold Jackson, number 29. He was wide open.
Instead, they get the first down to the 28-yard line. Horace Ivory now comes in to the Patriot back. And Steve Grogan right now has this football team moving. Look at those stats on him. Russ Francis, that last catch, is 17th of the year, and that surpasses his out a year ago. Horace Ivory, who just checked in, good outside speed across the 25 to the 23-yard line. This Ivory, coming out of the University of Oklahoma, was really having some injury problems in 77. He had thigh problems. He had a tough break in that first game with Washington. He fumbled the ball. The Redskins picked it up, but they have high hopes for number 23.
Ivory, that time Harrison, number 78, and LeMasters made the tackle, but they really got a good surge off the line of scrimmage, the right side of the line, and also you have to give credit to Bill Lankitis, number 67, for doing a good job at the point of attack.
2nd and 5. Cunningham, not much doing on that play. Good reaction that time by Bill Berge. Carl Hairston in on the stop. And if anything, they got a yard. So to come to a third down and still 4 yards to go. One thing about the Eagles, they will bend, but they don't like to break. They'll fight you for every yard. Ken Clark, number 71, now checks in as he replaces Charlie Johnson at that nose tackle spot. The New York Jets leading the Buffalo Bills 21-7. These Jets have really been a surprise this year. From the 22, third down, 4. A give to Ivory. Ivory's got the corner to the 10, 5, and he's at the 1-yard line. Horace Ivory to the 1-yard line. Boy, what a run by Ivory, but what blocking he had on that play.
Well, watch Leon Gray, John Hanna pulling on the play. It's an outside play away from the slot. Beautiful blocking up front. Look at Hanna downfield. Just got enough of a play on Edwards to keep him out of there, and the ball's right about a half a yard from the goal line. A beautiful run that time by Horace Ivory, number 23.
21-yard gallop, and it's just inside the 1-yard line, and the Patriots, who've pulled out their last 2 games in the last minute of play right now, are really putting it together. They have a 10-0 lead and trying to add to it. Give to the big guy, flag. Cunningham is in, but there is a flag on the play. Boy, that's just like money in the bank when you give it to that big guy on the 1-yard line.
He just has to line up and fall over, and he's going to make the yardage as tall as he is. And, of course, that offensive line, I'll tell you, Leon Gray, John Hanna, Lankitis, Adams, and Shelby Jordan did a good job of knocking him off the ball.
Bob Frederick indicating the Eagles are offside, so, of course, New England will refuse that. And all of a sudden, it's a 16-0 game. New England has really been impressive in this first half of play. Grogan throwing the ball exceptionally well. He's been mixing the plays, and he has that forward wall, that offensive line firing out and hitting people. Posey to attempt the point after. He's kicked a 43-yard field goal, trying to add his second PAT, and he got it. So after that first one, which was a squibber, he powered that one through. So 5:19 is left before halftime here in Foxborough. And the New England Patriots have a 17-0 lead. Yes, I hear the countdown. Yeah, I can. It's kind of tough, but go ahead.
We are taking a convenience. Bottles and cans are not allowed inside the stadium. Anyone found in possession of an alcoholic beverage container inside the stadium will be ejected.
Look at the time.
Back to receive for the Eagles is Liverpool Field and 34 James Serafin. Kicking off, number 9, David Posey.
That last drive by the Patriots took 8 minutes and 10 seconds. 12 plays, 87 yards. Posey to kick off, and the Pats with a 17-0 lead. Far sideline, that's Betterson. Betterson will bring it out to the 20. And Betterson to the 33-yard line. Well, Hank, you got to give it to New England right now. They're looking like the team that everybody thought they would be, and that's a Super Bowl contender.
Well, you know, the nice thing about what they're doing today, they have a very fine blend of passing and running. They're throwing play-action passes because they've been able to run well, and that's important in this kind of a game, to be able to throw the ball, especially on first down, and throw the ball when you have to. They're doing it the best I've seen them do so far. I've seen them play 2 or 3 times. And this is the most impressive offensive performance I've seen them involved with so far this season.
Remember this, though. Philadelphia trailed 17-0 last week going into the fourth quarter, and they won the ball game. Ron Jaworski on a first down. Good protection. Complete to Mike Hogan. And Hogan is out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. That's very close to the first down. Claiborne making the tackle.
See, there was another illustration of the ball not being thrown precisely right at the numbers. He had to readjust himself and then get himself righted again. And by the time he got readjusted, he didn't make nearly as much yardage had he would have made had the ball been thrown right at the numbers. And of course, a quarterback with a rush and everything, you can't always get it on the numbers. But specifically, precisely, this is what you're trying to accomplish on the play.
It's second down and about a yard to go, a little less than that, across the 41.5. Jaworski gives off to Montgomery. He's got the first down to the 46-yard line. Montgomery with the quick feet, the ability to run. They tell me that his head will be going one way, his legs the other. He's got an amazing ability to cut. Look at that score, would you? That's a real shocker.
Oh, it's a crazy season. You just never know what's going to happen from week to week. With 16 games, the emotional level changes so much from week to week that anything can happen and anybody can win.
So it's the first down for the Eagles, who trail in this game 17-0. Look out. Yeah, a little too eager that time. That's Greg Boyd, number 65. Second-year man from San Diego State. He's battling back from a broken ankle. And they're using him because Hamilton was shaken up earlier, and they have to play Bishop on a defensive end.
Number 6.
You know, the one thing about this team, this Philadelphia team, you know, they don't lose their poise. They don't panic. They're going to stay in there tough and play the kind of football they know they can play. This game is a long, long way from being over.
So they're now at the New England end of the field at the 49. It's first down and 5 after that offside penalty. Jaworski has to get rid of it to Montgomery. Montgomery looked like he was wanting to run with it before he had it. Sam Hunt converging on the play.
That's all that happened. There was perfectly thrown. He just started to run before he made possession, and of course it fell incomplete.
Montgomery's been catching the ball extremely well. He came in here with 16 grabs, which was 10th in the NFC. He's just done everything for this football team. Dick Vermeil said, I don't want to put any pressure on this guy, but I felt all along he could be a great one. Jaworski now 6 of 10 for 58 yards. And we come to a 2nd and 5. Protection is there, and Montgomery, well, Sam Hunt, the ball hit him. Hunt was back there trying to defend against it. He didn't even see it.
Looked like it hit him in the back, but they double covered. They double covered the outside people again, and the back was open. See him going into the area of the linebackers. But it hit Sam Hunt, number 50, fell incomplete.
Sam Hunt, he's got a lot of weight on a 6'1" frame. He's 253 pounds. He's had some back trouble.
He's like one of those destruction balls you see knocking down buildings. He's
3rd down and 5. 3.5 minutes left in this first half. Everybody jumping up on that line again. Now they drop off. They had 11 men up there one time. Jaworski rolling out against it to Montgomery. He fumbled the ball. He had a lot of running room if he had held on to that one.
That was a good automatic against that thing. He had to automatic. He rolled out away from the traffic and just hit the back in the flat. Look at the linebacker is coming. He's wide open. Would have run for a long, long gain, but it fell incomplete. He dropped it.
Montgomery dropping 2 of them on this particular drive. And now it's 4th down.
Mike Haynes was in on the play, number 40.
So Ingalls will go back and kick. Stanley Morgan goes back as the deep man for the Patriots. So it has not been a good first half for Philadelphia. They've had some mechanical problems. A couple of turnovers, couple of drop passes. Fine kick again by Ingalls. At the 5 is Morgan. And you wonder, Hank, if he'd been better off letting that ball hit maybe and go into the end zone.
I don't think he knew where he was, because he made the catch on about the 5-yard line, or about the 10-yard line, inside the 10. They should have let it go. It would have gone into the end zone for a touchback.
They're going to get another crack at it, though, because we have an ineligible man down the field again for Philadelphia. So they're going to have to kick it again. And as I mentioned, mechanically, Philadelphia is not putting it together right now. So they're going to lose that opportunity. Kansas City leads Tampa Bay 3-0 first quarter. Tampa Bay is the team to be ended with now. They're not a patsy. Kansas City on a 24-yard field goal by a man you know very well, Mr. Stram, Jan Stenerud.
Number 37 on the kicking team, ineligible downfield. 4th down.
That's Billy Campfield who got down there. Boy, those things kill you.
They really do. You know, in all the games we have seen so far this year, this is the first game I've seen that play called twice in the same game. So people are really doing a much better job with it than they did a year or 2 years ago.
So Ingalls is going to try to duplicate that kick of a moment ago. This time Morgan's at the 15-yard line. He hits another fine kick. Morgan's going to call for the fair catch, and he catches it at the 10 again. I wonder, you would think after that first one he might have let that one try to go in too.
Yeah, the basic rule of thumb is to stand on the 10, and if it comes right down on your hat, let it go. It'll go, percentage-wise, it'll go into the end zone, especially on synthetic turf. Yeah, everything's good. Everything all right there?
I don't understand it.
An intro they'll use during halftime.
Nerve cross, discuss a rivalry and the deciding, and what in the deciding plays. Okay, scratch the, gotcha.
Good. Huh? I didn't hear you. Well, we might, right in this area, might put it on Berge. Berge.
15 seconds, 30 seconds.
Bradshaw's playing.
Stand by.
Rick Ingles with a 44-yard kick. The fair catch sets it up just outside the 10-yard line. Look at this. Pittsburgh 17-0. Terry Bradshaw is playing. He had a 6-yard touchdown run. 59 seconds left in that first half of play. Cunningham trying to go wide. And the Eagles react to that very well. They're going to lose yardage inside the 10.
Yeah, they start almost every drive with that same play, running to the left with the anticipation of running at Hairston, number 78. Watch it. Leon Gray, number 70. But there you see Bill Berge again coming in to make the play, number 66. Boy, you have to block him or else you're not going to make more yardage in that interior area of the Eagle defense.
Well, they lost a pair. It'll be 2nd and 12. Horace Ivory checks in. Andy Johnson comes out for the Patriots. We're approaching the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Grogan off to Ivory. Ivory waiting for the blocking, and it doesn't develop. You could see him kind of coasting there, waiting for something to open up. It did not. He gets to the 10-yard line, and they still have 10. Let's make it 11 yards to go. It'll bring up a 3rd down.
That's the same play he ran to the left for such a big gain earlier in the game. That time he ran the same play to his right. Sam Adams, number 61, was out in front, but they didn't succeed in cleaning it out and making the necessary yardage for the big play.
2-minute warning is here. Got a chance to get the football here and do something.
Yeah.
In the first period, Kansas City leads Tampa Bay 3-0. In the second, the Kansas City leads 7. In the second, Pittsburgh 17 to 0. And in the second, Detroit 9, Washington 7.
Well, Hank, I would imagine you'd really have a tendency to be conservative here. You've got a 17-0 lead, 3rd and 11 on your own 10-yard line.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do at this stage is to give them any kind of an opportunity to shrink the field and let them go in for an easy score right before the half. They have to make sure that whatever they get, they earn, and I'm sure this is the approach they'll take in this series.
You see the time. 2 minutes left in the first half. In motion comes Jackson. Grogan's going to throw. He's throwing caution to the wind. He's going down here to the big tight end, Don Hasselbeck. 6'7", Don Hasselbeck, second-year man from Colorado. And, boy, they cranked up and went for it all.
They sure did, and it was a play-action pass. It was a bootleg misdirection, a very safe play and a high-percentage play because Grogan rolled out to his left. Everybody was out in front where he could see them in good shape, and he just overshot the big tight end. And Randy Logan, number 41, did a good job of covering on the play.
Well, now that stops the clock and gives the Eagles some time. 1:54 left. Jerry will kick from his own end zone. John Shira goes back for the Eagles. 17-0, but the Eagles have the chance to get on the board if they can get anything out of this punt. He did not hit it all that well. Fair catch by Shira inside the 40-yard line. And so now the Eagles, after a 30-yard kick by Gerald Wilson, have a chance to dent the scoreboard.
You know, the one thing that Gerald Wilson, watching him kick for so many years in Kansas City, at that time he did not keep the ball on the outside of his knee. And I don't want to be too technical, but you have to keep it outside the knee so you can get the leg through in good shape. That time he came across the ball, and as a result, didn't make good contact, and it wasn't a good kick.
Timeout. We'll be back with 1:47 to go before half. Now, wait a minute. That score can't be right because Detroit had 6 points at one time.
All right, let me check it.
Is it?
9-7.
That's the latest I heard was 9-7.
30 seconds.
Well, the Eagles have an opportunity here, trailing 17-0, to get on the scoreboard. 1:47 left. They hand the ball just inside the 40-yard line. Jaworski's hit half his passes in this first half thus far. 6 of 12 for 58 yards. They have Kenny Payne and Harold Carmichael split out.
Yeah, they're a well-disciplined, well-poised team. It's very important for them to get some points on this drive.
The running backs, Hogan and Montgomery. He has to get rid of it to Hogan. Hogan has 5 yards, and he's going to get more. He's got a first down inside the 30-yard line. Did not look like he had that much running room, but he made some. Sam Hunt, Raymond Claiborne over to make the tackle.
It was a quick play out to the right side, a quick screen, but he does a nice job of running inside. There wasn't anything outside. He ran inside and picked up a nice gain. He's just short of the first down.
He is just short. Second down, maybe half yard to go. The Eagles have timeout, and that'll stop it with 1:38. This reminder, tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes has more fascinating stories to shed light on the American scene. Then you're invited to make the single scene with Mary Tyler Moore. More laughter's next on the agenda with All in the Family and Alice. And capping off tonight on CBS is a great new drama, Cause. So keep your dial tuned right here on CBS. The sun breaks through at Foxborough. What a beautiful fall day this is. The leaves are changing here. Where we're standing, you can see downtown Boston. And from the 30-yard line, second down and less than a yard. Jaworski on the second down. Beautiful protection. Far side, intended for Montgomery. Over there was Rod Choate, the former Oklahoma standout. That'll bring up a third down.
That time Jaworski was looking to his right, and then you see Montgomery going out of the backfield, but then he came back to Montgomery, and he really wasn't set and anchored well to throw the ball to his far side, and as a result threw it way over the top and it fell incomplete. But he was looking to his right and then suddenly threw back to his left, and it was a badly thrown ball.
Now you got to think about getting that first down. It's third down, less than a yard, 1:33 left. On third downs thus far, Philadelphia is 2 for 6. Going for the first down is Hogan. He's got it. And now Philadelphia will use its second timeout. Ron Jaworski stops the clock with 1:28 left. So they have one timeout remaining. They have a first down inside the 30 at the 28, and Jaworski goes over there. Still quite a bit of time, really.
Oh, there's a lot of time left with 1:20. He's got one time out left. He'll save that for a kick opportunity in the event that he needs it. But they execute the 2-minute rule very well, and they'll do a good job, I'm sure, in this last 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Monday night's a lot of fun on CBS, and tomorrow night, CBS is where it's at. It being the new comedy hit, WKRP in Cincinnati. What a funny show that is. A special full-hour edition of MASH and the annual Bash from Nashville, the Country Music Awards, with host Johnny Cash, wife June, Roy Clark, Dolly Parton, Charlie Pride, Glenn Campbell, and many more top stars. That's tomorrow night on CBS. So Ron Jaworski comes in, and Dick Vermeil, who has had his team win 3 in a row. And some of the hard work this football team has put together in the preseason, the building that Vermeil has been working very arduously at, is now starting to pay some dividends, even though they trail here this afternoon. First down from the 28. Jaworski, protection broken out. Coming through was Mel Lunsford. Lunsford coming in from the left defensive end spot at 6'3", reached up.
You know, the other thing is he tried to hit the ball to Krifley, number 84, underneath, but they double covered on the outside. There was a man short and a man deep, and really it wasn't a good place to throw the football, but of course it was knocked down by Lunsford, number 72 anyhow. It didn't make any difference. Might have saved an interception.
Charlie Smith now comes in, and Keith Krefley checks out. So in effect what they have now, 3 wide receivers in the game. They have Payne, Smith, and Carmichael.
See if they go to the backs.
2nd and 10. A minute 24 left in the game.
Blitz.
Yes, sir. Everybody's on that line of scrimmage. All 11 of them. He can't pick out a man. Carmichael was covered. Rod Schote was back there. And the amazing thing about that, Hank, even though they had everybody up there was nobody open.
Well, what happened was that Carmichael was supposed to run inside a quick post, but Haynes is playing inside of him, and he took away the inside, you see. So as a result, he couldn't throw the ball inside like he wanted to, because he'd hit Haynes right in the back with the football, because he did have good inside leverage on Carmichael.
But you saw it. All 3 men were picked up very well.
Exactly right.
So it's a 3rd down. Still a minute 20.
What he's got to do the next time is go inside and then break for the outside, and he'll be wide open.
Jaworski now has missed on 6 of his last 7 passes. There it is to Carmichael. Look out. To the 10. He may make it. And he's in. Touchdown.
There it was. There's the same safety blitz, you see, but he gave him the inside that time. He didn't take away the inside. As a result, he was wide open. Watch what happens now. See, look at all. He backed off, and he was wide open on the inside. Anytime that you blitz like that, the corner man definitely has to take an inside position on that split end, or else this is what's going to happen. He did a good job the time before. This time he didn't, and as a result, the big play for the Philadelphia Eagles.
28-yard touchdown catch. Carmichael at 6'8" just dragged, but Dwayne in with him. I mean, he couldn't wrestle him down. Well, it's maybe you go to the well too often, huh, with the blitz?
Well, it's feast or famine. You know, you're going to look good. You're going to get to the quarterback sometime, but the next time you might not, and you're going to go all the way for a score. And you have to give Jaworski a lot of credit, because he read the blitz and got the ball right on target perfectly on that pass.
Nick Nickemeyer kicking the point after, but we have a flag, and let's see what it's all about. It's going to go against New England, so that point after will count. Let's listen now to Bob Frederick, who will explain it.
Defense, offside, point is good. We will penalize on the kickoff.
Well, Philadelphia's right back into this football game. On that 28-yard touchdown pass, it's 17-7. As it's kind of been a cat and mouse game here in the last couple of minutes. Both teams doing some unusual things, both offensively and defensively. On the last play, the Eagles won that round.
Well, I think this second half we'll see a lot of fireworks. I think Philadelphia will come out doing a lot more things offensively than they've shown so far in this game. But this last touchdown was a big play for the Eagles, and will provide them with the opportunity to come in the second half in good shape.
Hank, next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, we have some things of great interest. The USTA Women's Indoor Tennis Championships. The highlights of the finals will be televised from Minneapolis. And people like Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova will be there. And then live coverage from Belmont Park of the Jockey Club Gold Cup. 3rd leg of the Fall Triple Crown Handicap Series for 3-year-olds and up. And the world's strongest man. I'll tell you, the 2nd edition, it's a steel bar, Ben. And then we'll keep you updated on baseball. This is Raymond Claiborne back for this kickoff, as the Eagles now have climbed back into this game. They trail 17-7. Nick Nickemeyer will kick off.
Let's see if he kicks the ball up in the air, or whether he tries to hit a knuckleball and make him feel it low. Let's see what happens here.
1:12 left to be played before half. Well, he hit it deep. Fine kick that time. And this is James McAllister bringing it out against his former teammates. And McAllister out to the 22-yard line. At halftime, we'll go to New York and join the NFL Today. Jane, Brent, and Irv will give us some highlights throughout the National Football League. Keep us posted on what's happening throughout the NFL. And if we can go along with what we've seen earlier, it looks like we may have another unusual day. Some upsets in the making.
It's been that way almost every week in the National Football League so far, and there's every reason to believe that it'll be the same way again this weekend.
So from the 22, a minute 7 remaining before half. The Patriots stung by a 28-yard touchdown pass. Grogan giving off to Andy Johnson. And Johnson to the 25-yard line. He picked up 3, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 7. So the Patriots are content to take their lead into the dressing room, as they're not hurrying at all. So Philadelphia, who turned over the ball twice, one of them leading to a touchdown, and then had an 8-minute drive thrown up by New England, has come back to kind of take some of that sting away late in the first half. It's got to give them a little momentum as they go into the second half.
And they're that kind of a team. They're very tenacious. They're, a bulldog team. They're going to keep coming after you. And we'll see a lot of that in the second half, I'm sure.
On a 2nd and 7. Cunningham, and the big guy is to the 29-yard line, and we're inside 20 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Philadelphia last week trailed 17-0. They scored all their 17 points. Should say they trailed 14-0. They trailed at that stage, came back and scored 17 points in the fourth quarter to defeat Baltimore. So they have come from behind before. And that's going to do it in this first half of play from Foxborough. So the New England Patriots with a 17-7 lead over Philadelphia. Both of these teams coming in here with 3-2 records. And I know in talking to Dick Vermeil, he said if we could get by this one and head home against the Washington Redskins next week, who knows? You never know what can happen. And, of course, that would be their 4th straight win. It would be the first time since 1974 that Philadelphia would be able to win 4 in a row. On the other hand, New England, who's lost a couple of tough ones. That one to Washington on the fumble recovery, and then were upset on a Monday night by Baltimore, feels that they're together. They've had a lot of injuries. This has been a year, well, it started with Darryl Stingley, followed with Julius Adams. They've had really some traumatic things to overcome.
I've seen them play 3 times. This is the 3rd time, and this is the most impressive performance of the 3 times I've seen them participate. Well, we got that blitz pretty good, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
I was really surprised they would do that.
Oh, go right back with it again.
You got to say, hell, if you're going to throw the ball, earn it.
That's right.
No, we're not going to give you something where you can get a big play.
That's one of those things.
It's a fix.
That's one of those
No, hot
things
dogs,
where
is
you
it?
just
Hot dogs?
can't use it back to back.
Yeah, hot dogs.
You're still going to eat hot dogs after yesterday?
Yeah, the pump. Monsignor wants pack Monsignor lunch. Give that to him.
But yeah,
Pack
fine.
him a lunch.
Very good. No suggestion. Yeah, that's what
Hot
I
dogs,
like.
hot dogs, Monsignor.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Hot
I'm
dogs.
using it.
Hot dogs, boys.
Sit down a minute, my legs.
Okay, they'll bring some.
Hi, welcome back live to New York. I'm Brent Musburger. We're going to talk to Pete Rose about the World Series and why the Phillies can't seem to get into that series. But first, let me take you around the league and update all the scores. Pittsburgh and Atlanta just getting ready to start the third quarter. Steelers are dominating. Philadelphia and New England, of course. You're watching this game, and the Patriots lead. Harold Carmichael kept that streak going, though, with a big touchdown. Detroit dominated early. Then it was a blocked punt by the Redskins, and they're back in the game, just about ready to start the third quarter. The New York Jets have amazed today. Without Richard Todd, they have destroyed Buffalo, 35-7. Chicago and Green Bay, a comedy of errors so far, I'm told. Both teams too tight, playing for the NFC Central leadership. Tampa Bay and Kansas City. John McKay passed up a shot at the field goal to tie it, so Kansas City continues to lead by 3. Bud Wilkinson, desperate for his first victory, has fallen behind Baltimore 7-3. The Cleveland Browns, under their new coach, showing a lot of improvement this year. They lead New Orleans 7-0 in the first period. And Irv, let's take everybody back to Monday night. The Dallas Cowboys, 1st and goal, down on the Redskin 2-yard line. I still can't believe Tom Landry's play calling down there.
Well, he only had 4 shots because he ran the ball 3, finally kicked the field goal, and as everybody knows, he lost the game 9-5. But when you're running a goal line defense, where the Redskins do, the defensive tackles and defensive ends pinch to the inside. There's the first play, Brent.
Then after that, Staubach came back to the right side of his offensive line using Tony Dorsett. No play action, didn't try to freeze the outside or anything, Irv.
Well, the key man here is the middle linebacker. The tackle pinches down, the end pinches down. McClinton comes in, makes the play off tackle the way he should. But the thing that puzzled me, Brent, though, is why the Cowboys didn't go outside.
So they stack them up here, and the Cowboys had to settle for a field goal, and it was a big, big moment in that football game, perhaps, Jane, the biggest of all.
I don't understand why Theismann would take such a risk, Brent, in handling the ball the way he did that last play in the end zone.
That was the most entertaining play.
Why would he do that?
It was indeed a risk. Do you remember the moment? 3 seconds left in that football game. All he had to do is go down on the ball, and Tom Landry would have no time left at all. And instead of cross, he pulls out and runs into the end zone. If he'd have fumbled, the Cowboys would have recovered. They could have won the game.
Brent, that's absolutely right. People, you must keep this in mind. Once the ball is snapped, play is not dead until the play ends. In this case, either having Theismann be tackled or run out of the end zone, but he runs around down here. If he drops that ball in the end zone, the Cowboys recover it, they get a touchdown.
Irv, the rematch is coming up Thanksgiving down in Dallas. We'll be down there for that game. Will the Cowboys remember what Theismann did to him on that last play?
There's no question about that. The Cowboys have a great deal of pride. They're the defending world champions, and there's bad blood between these two ball clubs.
All right, let's come back and talk to Pete Rose about the Phillies and the upcoming World Series as the NFL Today continues after these messages from your local stations.
See a rib-tickling 1-hour special edition of MASH starting a half hour earlier than usual tomorrow at 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain on CBS.
So it's the Dodgers and the Yankees again in the World Series starting Tuesday night. The Phillies have failed, and Pete Rose, the question in Philadelphia is why?
Well, the Phillies have a lot of tremendous players. They got Boa, they got Lazinski, they got Schmidt, they got Maddox, but they have no one, I think, that leads them. You know, they have no one with World Series experience that starts every day. They have no one with championship series experience, winning championship series experience that plays every day, and they just go their own way, and they just don't play with the same intensity or the same desire that they do during the season, and They come out to open up the playoffs at home, where they were a very successful ball club in 1978, and lost the first 2 games to the Dodgers. They just didn't take it to the Dodgers. They just sat around and waited for something to happen. You can't do that with the Dodgers because they'll make it happen.
Pete, the Dodgers are very emotional right now, and I'm going to show everyone one of the key reasons why. Jim Gilliam remains unconscious in a Los Angeles hospital. He was stricken back on September 15th. Number 19, now their first base coach, was a top-flight infielder. Sandy Koufax, 65 World Series. Rollins bid for a base hit, robbed by Junior Gilliam, who saved the World Series. And the Dodgers have vowed to win this championship for their stricken coach.
I think the spirit we're playing in is in his spirit. You can only dedicate after you win, and that's what I really feel will happen.
He's there spiritually every single minute of the day. It's very important for us to not only win it for ourselves, but to win it for him.
I know that he has dedicated a lot of his time to a lot of players on our club, and I think it's just the only way we can do some things that maybe we should have done in the past, and that is to say thank you.
Pete, will this be a factor? Can this help motivate a baseball team?
I think the way all the Dodger players feel toward Junior Gilliam, I think it definitely will, because every day before the national anthem, they have a moment of silence at Dodger Stadium for Junior and his family, and this makes the players well aware of what the situation is, and they all love him so much, and he talks a lot to all the visiting players also. I've had a lot of discussions with him because he's a switch hitter and I'm a switch hitter, and we talk about hitting, and they just always, you know, they all just dearly love Junior Gilliam.
All right. You know, when Pete Rose said the Phillies need a leader, immediately came to my mind, they need Pete Rose. Well, we're going to talk about Rose's future a little bit later today. Doubleheader of the Dallas-New York Giant game. Let me show you some highlights. These plays have just occurred earlier today. We've got a lot of action going on, like Atlanta and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, of course, off to their best start in history. And here is Bradshaw looking for Cunningham on the 19-yard line. Cunningham was knocked out of the game on that play, set up a field goal. Now watch Lynn Swan, as Pete Rose pointed out, how wide open he gets underneath that zone, down to the Atlanta 43. And here is Rocky Blyer getting in for the touchdown, cutting to the outside where the defense wasn't. It was 10-0. And then it was Terry Bradshaw coming back from that knee injury. Great fake on the play, rolls out and gets in for that score. Now, Philadelphia and New England, of course, this is the contest you've been watching. Beware of the Eagles when they're a 7-point underdog. But it was the Patriots early who dominated. Montgomery on the carry, fumbled for the second time. Patriots take over. They've got a great chance. And it was Calhoun. Off tackle. Patriots get up on the scoreboard. Grogan now coming up. Play action. Fine running quarterback. But he comes up passing this time, looking for Morgan. 32-yard gain. That set up a Patriot field goal. New England 10, Philadelphia nothing. Horace Ivory now on the carry as the Patriots still dominate. But remember, it's early. 21 yards to the Eagle now, 1/2-yard line. And then Cunningham bammed in. It was 17-0. But Jaworski quickly to Carmichael, keeps the streak alive, and the Eagles are very much in this football game. And let's send you back right now to Gary Bender.
Thank you, Brent. It is 17-7 here at halftime. The New England Patriots on top, but the Eagles getting on the scoreboard in the last minute of that first half. We'll be back with the second half in a moment. Yeah. Oh, we're going to be on, I think. Thanks. No, we don't. Do you have stats? Do we have any stats?
Put that on when we start talking.
That's not stats. Uh-oh. We need stats. Well, that won't do us any good.
Well, we can talk. I've got some things to talk about.
Are you going to phone them up?
Are we going to, we going to talk?
Yeah.
Washington 7, in the first period. Baltimore 7, St. Louis 3. Cleveland 7, New Orleans 0.
Do you want the scoreboard sheets for the other games?
No, we're all right. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to know what we got stat-wise, but I guess it's... Why don't we have a stat sheet?
Stat people took out. to it, but that's the card.
Announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Well, the Patriots were pretty well dominating this football game, Hank, but all of a sudden the Eagles, they got on the board, and you get the feeling they're right back in this game.
Well, they gambled. New England gambled on a feast or famine situation with a safety blitz. They got caught in it. It was a touchdown play. You know, the interesting thing about this Philadelphia team is the fact that they've scored 102 points, Gary, so far this season, and 62 of those 102 have been scored in the fourth quarter. So this is a strong fourth quarter team, and a lot of things are going to happen in the second half.
In fact, in the fourth quarter, they've outscored their opponents 62-20. But on the other hand, the Patriots have pulled out the last two games in the fourth quarter.
Well, both teams are very similar. There's no question about the personality of these two teams being very much alike. So far in the first half, it's very obvious that the New England team had. We'll see what happens in the second half.
Well, Jaworski, as he was having some problems, I think he missed 6 of 7 straight passes, but he seems to have the poise not to get down on himself. And that's been the story of this Eagle football team. They've had chances to really just hang it up, but they don't.
Well, they've been very tenacious. They've got a lot of poise. They're a very well-disciplined team. They know what they have to do. They know how they can do it, when they can do it, and they continue to persist very strongly, and I think we're going to have a great game in the second half. It's going to be a lot more wide open on the part of both teams in the second half than it was in the first half.
I think also what's been pointed out here today, Hank, is the fact that New England's got some talent. Boy, there are a couple of drives. That 1 8-minute drive is as pretty as any you'll see all year long.
Yeah, when you distill all the qualities of this football team, you really come away with the idea that they're really one of the most talented teams in the league. And the longer they go, the better they're going to get, the more confidence they're going to get. They've been playing extremely well defensively, but this is the best they've played, I think, offensively so far this season.
You look at this AFC East, what a dogfight it's going to be. You know, here's Miami and New England on top at 3-2. And even though Baltimore's had all those injuries, they still think they can come back in it.
Well, I think with a 16-game schedule like it is in 1978, there's no question of the fact that the team with the most ability will be the favorite, because the longer you go, why, the cream is going to come to the top. And I think the 16-game schedule is going to be an ally for the good teams.
All right, we're ready to go now. 17-7, our halftime score. Kicking off will be the Eagles. This is Nick Nickemeyer who will be booting. And going back deep will be Stanley Morgan for the New England Patriots. Philadelphia trying to win their 4th in a row. Team that's, well, it all started. They won against New Orleans, then they beat Miami. Dick Vermeil calling it the biggest win since he'd been in Philadelphia. And then coming from behind last week to defeat Baltimore. Playing their 3rd straight AFC Eastern Division team here this afternoon. And the kick. Going to be taken by Claiborne. He's going to bring it up. Out to the 10. Look out. And he runs out of room, and that's about all to stop this guy, who last year had a return of 101 yards, 193 yards for a touchdown. He is dangerous.
You know, the thing about him is you watch him run. This is a basic fundamental thing for the young people who view professional football and also college football. He handcuffed himself that time, really, Gary, by running to his left with the ball in his right arm. He should have the ball in the left arm so that in the event somebody comes from the inside, he can use the straight arm with the shoulder to ward him off. That time he didn't, and as a result had protected himself on the sideline.
Well, they only had the ball out the 16-yard line. He did a lot of running, but didn't get up the field very far. Steve Grogan has Russ Francis in motion. Play action by Grogan. A lot of time. Over the middle, blocked. Morgan had it and dropped it. Are they going to rule that a complete pass? No, incomplete. Stanley Morgan actually taking a stride, it looked like, with that football, and all of a sudden, he couldn't hang on to it.
Well, you know, they've been running this play a lot on first down. It's a play-action pass. And Andy Johnson was really wide open in the flat area, but he made up his mind in advance that he was going to throw the ball to Harold Jackson. He stayed in the pocket, had good protection. Watch it. Good protection. And finally had an opportunity to throw to Jackson. He made the catch, but dropped it as he started to run. I'm surprised they didn't call it a fumble.
So Morgan cannot hang on, and it comes to a 2nd and 10 now from the 16-yard line. Calhoun and Johnson, the running backs behind Grogan. Just underway in the second half. This is Jackson in motion. Grogan to throw again. Protection, breaks down. He's going to scramble. Oh, did he get hit? The ball is loose. Let's see, are they going to rule it a fumble or not? I believe they're going to say that Grogan hit the ground and the ball is dead, and that's what they're going to do. John Shira flying up there. What a collision that time around Steve Grogan.
He goes back to throw the ball. No place to throw it. And there's a lot of running room inside. He makes the decision to run, but boy, he really got a shot by Carl Hairston, number 78, who made the blow. And now it's 3rd down and 5 for the New England team.
Well, he got some out of it. Look at this. The Jets continue to roll. 35-7. That's amazing. Grogan up 5 yards, so it's 3rd and 5. Throwing again, and it's incomplete. Russ Francis, the intended receiver. And you can see, Hank, the Eagles have come in here in this 3rd quarter, and they've got a little intensity. They've turned it up a click or two.
Yeah, they got pumped up at halftime, I assure you. And they're playing, they play with a lot of enthusiasm the first half, but it looks like the enthusiasm level in the second half is a little bit better.
So now New England will have to get rid of the football. So a drop pass, protection breaking down, and it precipitates a kicking situation. Gerald Wilson to boot. John Shira goes back for the Eagles. Just about a minute gone by here in the 3rd quarter. 17-7, New England with the lead. That's not a good kick. Shira comes up at the 50-yard line. Shira to the 40, and he's just inside the 40-yard line. Gerald Wilson is not kicking the ball very well. Steve King flying up to make the stop for New England, and Philadelphia has excellent field position. That was only a 30-yard kick by Wilson, a net of 19 yards on the play. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, thank you. Bunting, the guy with. Tell you, folks, Philadelphia's going to. Yes, sir. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Billy.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, we got 2 guys. Now what? Okay. Green Bay. Markle. Boy, that's a battle.
15 seconds. Stand by.
Oh, okay. Look at this. Green Bay, the surprise team in that NFC Central Division, leading Chicago 3-0. 41-yard field goal by Chester Markle. 11:15 remaining in the first half of that game. The Eagles now with the football. Baltimore leading the Cardinals 7-3 first quarter. Bud Wilkinson still in search of that first win. Ron Jaworski on first down is going to throw it. Fine fake. Kenny Payne is wide open. Kenny Payne was wide open.
A play action pass, and the thing that we talked about earlier, Tim Fox and Bedoin, they like to come up when they smell a play action run or a fake. They come up a little bit that time, a little bit too tight, and as a result, they were able to get the ball over the top, but he just dropped it. It was a beautifully thrown ball, and Carmichael on the left side was wide open.
Hank, Jaworski's not getting a lot of help in the receiving department today. He's had about 3 passes dropped that should have been caught.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays you got to make. You got to make those big plays when you have an opportunity.
So his stats of 6 for 16, a little misleading. 2nd and 10 from the 40. Oops, mishandled snap. And I believe New England's got it. So the Eagles lose a very good opportunity. They had everything going their way, and all of a sudden they lose the football.
Yeah, that's unusual for that to happen because Guy Morris, number 50, is their regular center. And, of course, Jaworski, you couldn't tell what happened, why they had the fumble, but they had it. New England possession, 1st and 10.
That's the 3rd lost fumble for Philadelphia.
Three, 13, 14,
What one? They're good.
Boy, you talk about a matter of inches. They had 6 points, and now they lose a game or lose a ball.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
30 seconds.
He'll dry off. Thank you, George.
Ten seconds.
Hmm. 17-7. The Patriots get a new life from their own 40-yard line.
Let's see if they start this drive again running to their left. This is what they like to do on 1st and 10. They're running at Hairston. Let's see what happens.
And Grogan gives up the middle, and Cunningham gets a pair as he's to the 42-yard line. 2nd and 8. The Jets just continue to pour it on. That is amazing. 42-7. Buffalo's been playing pretty good football.
Well, they won a game last week that they didn't expect to win, I think. And here again, that emotional level changes so much from week to week, especially if you win a big game one week. You think it's going to be a little easier if you're not careful the next week against a lesser team, and it's always murder.
Cunningham comes out of the lineup now. Calhoun is back here along with Andy Johnson. 2nd down. Let's make it a long 7 to go. Play action by Grogan. He's going for Morgan. And Stanley Morgan takes it in. 57 yards for the touchdown.
Boy, you can't throw a ball any better than that. It's a play-action pass. John Hanna comes back and picks up Hairston just enough to get the ball off. Look at the ball right over the top to Morgan. Catches it in stride and goes right into the end zone for the touchdown. Herman Edwards, number 46, and Shira, number 21 are there, but he licks them both for the touchdown.
Well, he had a 62-yard touchdown grab earlier this year, now 1 for 57.
Beautifully executed play.
And that is his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. Just like that, the Patriots have now taken a 24-7 lead.
Well, it just goes to show you how crazy the game is. Gary, Philadelphia had a chance to get back in the game with the same kind of a big catch, but they dropped it in the end zone. They caught it. That's the big difference.
I tell you. Crazy. All right. Boy, Morgan just ran away from him. But isn't that amazing, though, how...
Who was the guy that dropped it here? Payne?
That was Payne, yeah. Payne.
That's the guy that had the Green Bay, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he's... Now they got a chance to...
Here's this great catch again. Morgan catching it right in stride, right between the two defenders for the touchdown. A beautifully executed play, well conceived, play-action pass.
Posey kicking off. The Patriots with a 24-7 lead. This is Billy Campfield bringing it out to the 20. Trying to go wide, and he gets it to the 30. And so Philadelphia, who just missed by a matter of an inch of scoring, all of a sudden they're standing. Morgan, boy, he's caught 2 bombs in this early going of the year. 62 and 57 yards.
Well, as I mentioned, you know, the Eagles had a great opportunity to make the same kind of a play, except Payne dropped the football in the end zone, and they come right back and they turn the play right around. New England now has a lead 24-7.
Morgan has 2 catches now in this game for 89 yards. That's a pretty good afternoon. Jaworski pitches back to Montgomery. And Montgomery to the 34-yard line, a pickup of 4. Steve Nelson over to make the tackle. And the Eagles have their work cut out for them now. When they scored at the end of the first half, it looked like they might be driving again. And all of a sudden, things reversed on them in a hurry. You know, a lot of people talk about Grogan being type of a scrambling quarterback who likes to run, but that last pass, nobody's going to throw it any better than he just threw it.
He's really thrown some frozen ropes out here this afternoon, right on the money. Beautiful throws.
Here's Jaworski with a second down now, 6. Jaworski got a lot of time, a screen, and complete. And that is the 3rd pass today the Eagles have dropped that has gone to the backs. Twice by Montgomery and once by Hogan. Jaworski's going to sue for non-support here in a little bit.
Steve Nelson was playing him man for man, smelled the play right from the very beginning, and was right out there, and I think that's one of the reasons why he dropped the ball, because I think he, out of the corner of his eye, he saw Steve Nelson, number 57, coming, and as a result, wisely really dropped it.
So now from the 33.5-yard line, they come to a 3rd down. 3rd down and still 6 yards to go. Flag on the play. Jaworski to Kenny Payne. Now Payne's got this one, but a flag went into the air. Let's see what the preliminary signal is going to be. That was a 14-yard completion to Ken Payne. And here comes the signal. It's going to be holding. It's against New England. So they will have the 1st down.
You know, you watch this Philadelphia team play. Let's listen for the call. Here comes the call.
A little hard to pick up, but they will refuse the penalty. Takes the ball at the 48-yard line.
You know, the one thing that impresses me about this Philadelphia team, a lot of things do, but they really are well poised, and as I mentioned, well disciplined, and they're not going to panic. They're not going to get away from what they do well. They're going to keep control of this football game and do a good job.
11:50 still left in this 3rd quarter. On a 1st down, Jaworski, and here's Montgomery. That's designed to go that way. And look at him, 40, 30-yard line. Hank, that was designed to be run that way.
Yes, it was. It was a counter play. You see, he started to his right, got the defense moving. They react so fast. Watch, and he turns right around. A little ring around the rosy. Goes right back to the left side. Good blocking up front. Excellent running. And a big play for the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's a 22-yard pickup to the 30-yard line, and they're battling back.
Mike Haynes, number 40, made the tackle.
So the Eagles down 24-7, but still, they continue to move the football. Jaworski to Carmichael. No, I don't think he looked up quick enough.
No, you know, I mentioned earlier, you got to get the head turned quickly. That time he did not bring it around fast enough, did not locate the ball till it almost hit his hand, and as a result, there's no way you can make that kind of a catch. Watch it. He looked like he was very surprised when the ball, and he still almost made the play even though he didn't see it out in front like he normally should.
I'll say it again, there's been an awful lot of drop passes in this game. The Jets leading Buffalo 45-7. Pat Leahy just kicked a 38-yard field goal. That's Matt Robinson that's doing all the damage at quarterback, replacing the injured Richard Todd. 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Jaworski up the middle to Montgomery. Montgomery trying to cross him up on that play. Gets to the 26, Tony McGee. They call him Mac the Sack because last year he had 13.5 sacks, 5 in one game. Jaworski looking to the far side. Keith Krefli gets a first down on sheer determination. There was no way he was going to get that first down on third down.
You talk about emotion and determination. This is all that we see right here in this play. A short dunk pass to the outside. Watch Krefli, number 84. Look at him fight for balance and the first down. A great effort by number 84, Krefli.
We have Hamilton shaken up for the New England Patriots at the 40-yard line. He was hurt earlier in the game and went out, and now he's down again. You know, that last play, Hank, shows me again the character of this Philadelphia team. That's what Vermeil has been harping on all year long. Krefli had no right to get a first down, but he just didn't give up.
Well, if you remember the game we saw him play against New Orleans, it was a deflected ball for a touchdown. He had no will to make that catch either, but he made it in the end zone for a score. But that's the kind of a player he is, and I think it reflects the personality of this football team very well.
So they have a first down at the 15. Hamilton will leave the football field, and he might return. He's up standing on the near sideline. They're looking him over, but Greg Boyd replaces him at nose tackle. Inside 10 minutes to go in this third quarter. First down at the 15.
See if they try to go on top to Carmichael.
Carmichael's at the bottom of the screen, split out.
He's backing off. Claiborne is backing off now. I thought, there he goes.
Got to go to the big guy, but he's covered. And a flag. That's Tim Fox. That would be a first and goal at the 1-yard line as Fox collided with him.
Well, that time, see, Claiborne came up on the line of scrimmage, and I'm sure that Jaworski changed the play, but he maintained outside leverage. And you see 48 comes in there and makes a play, pass interference. There you see it again.
Jaworski very wisely just threw it away when he saw what was happening. They get the pass interference. It's first and goal at the 1-yard line.
That was Tim Fox, number 48, involved in the pass interference.
So the Eagles trailing 24-7. They're not giving up on this one. Look at this. John Shira is the quarterback. What has happened here?
They're going to run an option.
I don't
roll out. Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Beautiful play. He comes in and runs a rollout or an option play. That time it was a rollout. He faked to the running back. You know, a lot of times, Gary, what happens in these plays, nobody knows you're going to run the ball. You just call a sweep to the left, and you just keep it. That way, it makes everybody do a good job of acting, because the minute you tell them you're going to keep it yourself, then they get involved in the play, you see. But it was a beautifully executed shot.
I bet you nobody on the Patriot team knew that Shira was a quarterback, did they?
I don't think they did. No, I didn't.
Because you got to suspect something unusual is going to happen if he comes in at quarterback.
But he played in the Canadian League, and of course was an outstanding quarterback from Vermeil at UCLA. Ran the option very well in the rollout, and he's a very capable guy when it comes to doing that kind of thing.
You know, I like that. I think that's very innovative. It's interesting. A lot of times they say that pro football doesn't have any new wrinkles. Well, that was a new one. And Shira took it in. We have a man shaken up.
And I really don't think that Montgomery knew he was going to do this. Montgomery did a good job of acting. He ran the ball and dove it into the hole. You don't see it on this replay, but he looks like he ran out of the bleachers. There was nobody around him. Huh?
Here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again. Look, see Montgomery take a shot, dive like he's got the ball. But they really did a good job of selling the run fake. And, of course, Shira went in for the score.
That's Rod Schultz that's hurt. Schultz really had a history of injuries. 75, he had a broken leg, 76 a knee. Last year was the first healthy year he had. And now he's having some injury problems. The Giants, Dallas coming up. You know, to go back to Shira, he has really become a real utility man. They use him to field punts. He plays the safety spot. He's the third quarterback. You just saw him run the ball in. He can hold on placements. That's kind of a valuable guy to have.
He really is, and especially when he can play quarterback in case of an emergency or in situations like the one we just saw.
So the 1-yard run by Shira on a bootleg or reverse, whatever you want to call it, has made it a 24-13 game. And Schultz is being helped off the field. Certainly hate to see that young man hurt. He's really had some problems injury-wise. By the way, Tampa Bay and Kansas City are deadlocked now at 3 apiece. Dave Green kicked a 22-yard field goal. John Shira, you know, when he played the Canadian Football League, had an amazing success. He led the CFL in punt returns, Rookie of the Year 1 year, played 2 years with the British Columbia Lions. And now Nickemeyer to attempt the point after. Shira to hold. And Nickemeyer hit it. And it's a 10-point game once again. 24-14. The New England Patriots on top, as this second half is really showing us some fireworks here in Schaefer Stadium. I couldn't believe it when I saw him standing to quarterback for about 2 seconds. All right. I really couldn't believe. I thought I was seeing something.
You got the thing with Carmichael in good shape.
Yeah. You know, Shira, or Vermeil, really shows me something. You know, he really does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right, he does.
Morgan bruised toe, huh? I tell you, folks, this isn't over now. Claiborne. Okay.
15 seconds.
So for the second time in this game, the Eagles have climbed within 10 points. They trail 24-14. Nickemeyer to kick off. Raymond Claiborne is deep for the Patriots at the goal line. Still a lot of time. 9:30 left in the third quarter. This is Claiborne on the fly. He can run the 109.4, and he's all the way out to the 35-yard line.
He's a daring, aggressive guy in those kickoff returns.
Pittsburgh with Bradshaw surprisingly playing on their way to their 6th straight. St. Louis has taken the lead, 10-7 over Baltimore.
And guess who made that tackle on that last play? John Shira, number 21. How you like that?
He might drive the bus to the airport. From the 35-yard line now. It's a little bit chilly here today. As you can tell that summer is gone and fall is here.
You know, in the play-action passes that Grogan has thrown, time and time again, Jackson, number 29, has been wide open coming across the middle. He hasn't hit him yet. Look for him to do that somewhere on this drive.
Here's Andy Johnson waiting for the blocking to form, and he brings the ball all the way out for an 8-yard gain. We understand that Stanley Morgan is the bruised toe. We don't know if he's going to play the rest of this game.
Frank Lemasters, number 55, makes the tackle. There you see John Hanna, number 73. Sam Cunningham, 39, going through the hole. Russ Francis blocking that time on Berge.
They had Francis and Hanna. That's a pretty good double team when you try to fight those guys off. Second down, a long one to go. And I don't believe they got it. Very, very close. As Cunningham was met about the time he hit the line of scrimmage, and they didn't get it. They bring up a third down.
He didn't look like he really got off the ball quickly enough that time. It looked like there was a little hesitation on the play. Lemaster, number 55, and Charlie Johnson, number 65, made the tackle.
Lemaster playing a lot of football here this afternoon. Osborne continues to play. We understand that Bunting will not return today. He has an injured knee. So Osborne, the free agent rookie, is playing that left side linebacker. Here they go for the first down. Cunningham, he wanted to go airborne, but he never got up there. I think he fell forward far enough to get that first down. It was Osborne who closed in on the play. But he wanted to go up in that patented cannonball dive of his, but he couldn't get up. And they're going to maybe measure to see if he got the first down. They need to be right on top of the 45-yard line. And that looks just about where the ball is going to be. Looks like they may have gotten it by half the length of a football. No, not even that much.
That was very close. But it doesn't make any difference as long as you make it.
So from the 45, New England has a new series. As Jackson checks back in at the wide receiver spot. They had 2 tight ends in on that last play. Hasselbeck along with Francis. And you talk about some people at tight end, 6'7" and 6'6". That's a lot of people to put up there on a blocking situation.
Let's see if they throw the ball on first down here. Let's see what happens.
They're going to. Grogan to Johnson. Reggie Wilkes covering on the play, and Wilkes, you got to understand, is a tall guy at 6'4", and it made it tough to complete that one.
I tell you, that's a tough pattern to cover, and it was a play-action fake inside, faking a trap, trying to hit Andrew Johnson on the outside, but Wilkes gets a good jump. He smells it, gets a good sniff of the ball, and he's right there. Grogan's got to throw the ball right over the top, and as a result throws it long, falls incomplete. Very well played by Wilkes.
Well, they're so high on this guy, 6'4", 230, the rookie, and he shows he can take those pass drops and get back there.
Yes, it was easy to understand why they like him.
Second down, 10 from the 45. Grogan got to put it up again. Protection is there. And it's almost picked up. Herman Edwards almost had 6 points. The intended receiver was Jackson. That one, he was gone.
Jackson was wide open, too, but he waited a long time to deliver the ball to Jackson. And as a result, Edwards had a good chance to get a jump on the ball and really should have made the interception.
Last year, Edwards had 6 interceptions. He has 1 this year. And it comes to a third down. Thus far, the Patriots 3 of 7 on third down conversions. This has been a very entertaining game, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, and we haven't seen Grogan roll out yet too much. You might look for him to do this in this situation.
Third down, 10 yards to go, flag on the play. Grogan back, look out. He scrambles away from Ken Clark, and he's going to get the first down. But let's see what the flag is all about. There is the real added dimension of having a quarterback that can run. He runs for 11 yards on that play when it looked like he was going to be buried for a loss.
You know, going into this game, he ran the ball 25 times for 205 yards for a rushing average of 8.2 and 3 touchdowns. It's a dimension. You know, most teams will defense everybody but the quarterback, and as a result, you know, when you play against him, you're playing 11 against 11 instead of 11 against 10.
Offside, refused. First down.
Well, you saw it. They'll refuse that one after the 11-yard run. Well, Grogan led quarterbacks in rushing the last 2 years, and he's leading again this year. He was averaging 8.2 per carry coming into this game.
You know, one thing about the New England team today, they're really not being conservative with that lead. They're staying on top of the thing, being aggressive, trying to make something happen. Wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him throw another play-action pass on first down. As I mentioned earlier, Jackson has been wide open coming across the middle on a play action. Let's see what happens.
First down. The ball just inside the 45. In motion comes Jackson again. This is Horace Ivory. And Ivory loads across the 40 to the 39. Boy, he has acceleration. You can see it. Carl Hairston coming up as Ivory is forward progress at the 39-yard line. Andy Johnson will check back in. And we come down to a 2nd and 5 for New England. Ivory checks out. Johnson in. 6:48. The second half, we've had a 57-yard touchdown pass and also a 1-yard run by Shira. Cleveland leading New Orleans 14-6. The big guy, Cunningham. And it looks like he may have a first down. Cunningham to the 33.5. Number 66 over there, Bill.
That was a trap that time with the right guard, 61 Adams, trapping on the play. Watch him. A good block field by Leon Gray, number 70. Cunningham goes through there for a nice gain. We're going to measure for the first down.
Well, the attendance here at Schaefer Stadium, 61,016. They do have the first down. New England goes to Cincinnati next week. And, of course, the Eagles return home to Vet Stadium to meet the Washington Redskins. First down. 6:12 remaining in the third quarter. Both these teams moving the football in the second half of play. Give up the middle to Ivory, and Ivory inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Morgan has not been in on this series. The wide receiver who caught that touchdown pass, as we mentioned, he bruised his toe. They may not use him the rest of the game. So from the 30, it'll bring up second down and 7.
I'm sure they're going to try to stuff the ball at the Eagle defense and try to consume as much time as they possibly can. As dangerous as Philadelphia has been offensively, I'm sure they want to control the line of scrimmage and take as much time as possible.
So from the 30-yard line, 2nd and 7. Don Calhoun comes in. He's number 44. He replaces Cunningham. He and Ivory, the running backs. Grogan. And a big hit put on by Bill Berge on Horace Ivory. Ivory showing pretty good hands on that play. He was felled the minute the ball arrived there.
That's a high percentage pass pattern. It's very much like a run. Watch Berge. Look at the shot he gives him. He gives him the bear hug and the old squeeze.
They're a yard short of that first down. It's 3rd down. Well, that Berge, he's just looking for somebody to hit back there.
Yeah, he comes off the bus out of the parking lot trying to hit somebody, and he does it too. He does a great job. He's a super player.
There we go on a 3rd and 1. Cunningham's got it. They go to that bread and butter guy. Boy, he's been old reliable for them, not only today, but in several years past. And the forward progress, a first down marked at the 21-yard line. Cunningham was the first 1,000-yard rusher for the Patriots since Jim Nance, another big fullback, did the job in 1967.
Manny Sistrom that time 79, LeMasters 55, and Bill Berge 66 were all in on that play, the last play.
The Redskins leading Detroit now 14-12 with 14 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
See if they run to the right.
Here they go. Ivory showing a couple of moves. The ball is fumbled. And Philadelphia's got it. Horace Ivory put on a move, but all of a sudden the ball got away from him. So we've had some very costly turnovers for both sides, and that stops a very impressive drive. Looks like possibly Sanders fell on the football.
Yeah, John Sanders, number 26, is the guy that was on the ball. Ivory, number 23, running to his right. Manny Sistrom didn't let them get any penetration at all as far as knocking them off the ball. Did a good job on the play.
So from the 18-yard line, Philadelphia takes over. Ron Jaworski off to Wilbert Montgomery. Montgomery cuts back up, and he makes it to the 20. You could see that play developing. Almost broke it for a big game.
Yes, he did. They had a slot right with both receivers on the strong side, Michael and Payne.
There's Grogan. He's got to be disappointed. They were really jamming it down the throat before they fumbled on that last series.
Well, this is really has to give the Philadelphia team a lot of life here, and a lot of enthusiasm, because they really dodged a bullet on that last drive.
3 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. There's your down and distance. 2nd down, 4. Jaworski up the middle to Mike Hogan. He's got the first down and then some. As his forward progress will be to the 34-yard line. Steve King making the stop. He's playing in place of the injured Rod Schote.
Here's a straight-ahead shot over the left side, and very good blocking that time by the left tackle Walters, and left guard Wade Key, number 72, made it all happen, along with the block by Guy Morris, number 50.
Mike Hogan, he's the second part of that 1-2 punch. He doesn't get the publicity of Montgomery, but he's a good running back. Led the Eagles in rushing the last couple of years. First down. Play action to Kenny Payne, and he dropped it. It seems as though every pass Jaworski has thrown behind the line of scrimmage has been dropped. Steve Zabel defending on the play.
Zabel, number 54, really came up quickly. It was a misdirection, quick screen, faking the sweep to the left side. I don't know whether he got a glimpse of Zabel coming in from the inside or not, but he dropped that pass. Should have been caught.
2nd and 10. From the 34, Keith Krefley, the tight end, goes out. So that means Orrin Middlebrook is checked in. Middlebrook, Payne, and Carmichael, the wide receivers. There's Jaworski for the afternoon stat-wise. With 3 wide receivers in the game. Up the middle. Carmichael checked at Middlebrook. Orrin Middlebrook, the intended receiver, could not hang on. Good pressure. A hit that time by Fox, who came flying over there.
Jaworski back in the pocket, sets up nicely. McGee, 78, providing good pressure, and got him right about the time he released the football. It's a wonder he threw it that well because he was harassed a little bit on that last play.
That McGee, they call him the designated rusher. They bring him in on passing situations. So now 3rd and 10. Jaworski on 3rd and 10. He had to get rid of that one as he was stormed. He looked up the field, nothing doing, then tried to release it again, and it was McGee again who was in on the play. And so it's a 4th down.
Well, that McGee has put a lot of pressure on. They put him in on passing situations, number 78, the left end. And he really comes out of the starting blocks and puts a lot of heat on the quarterback.
Well, you know, last year they led the NFL in sacks with 58. They had 10 in 2 different games. This year, with the absence of Julius Adams, they're not getting quite the pass pressure they've had before. They had 10 sacks coming into this game. Ingles to kick. Mike Haynes is back deep. Fine kick by Ingles. He's done a job today. Here's Haynes. And again, the Eagles cover very well. Philadelphia over there, and Mike Haynes, who can really run from Arizona State. His forward progress is going to be marked inside the 30-yard line. Well, looking ahead as we head into another NFL, here's what you can expect to see on CBS. The Lions against the Falcons. Tampa Bay scoring off against the Giants. Those Redskins, well, they might be unbeaten when they go against the Eagles. And Dallas against St. Louis. And then the doubleheader games, the Rams square off against the Vikings. And Hank and I will be in San Francisco to bring you the Saints and San Francisco 49ers. Be sure now to consult your local listings for the games in your area. On a 1st down, Don Calhoun, check that. Sam Cunningham out to the 32-yard line. Man shaken up out there. John Hanna gets up limping a little bit for the Patriots. And it's 2nd down and 6, a gain of 4. Don Westbrook checks in at wide receiver for New England. Jackson will check out.
Charlie Johnson on the last play, number 65, was involved in that stop.
So Grogan brings him out on a 2nd and 6. We have 1:14 left in the 3rd quarter. 24-14. New England with the lead. Westbrook comes in motion. Andy Johnson. And he's not going to get the 1st down, but he got some good yardage on the play across the 35. You know, one thing I've noticed about the running backs for the Patriots, Hank, they really read those blocks. They don't turn it on until they know where they're headed. They're under control.
Especially Johnson. He's a very control kind of a runner and uses his head and his eyes very well. You know, a lot of times running backs will go into a pile and close their eyes and not get nearly as much out of a play as they should. He runs very well with his eyes. He sees what's happening all the time, and as a result makes a lot of extra yardage that a lot of other backs will not make because they do close their eyes.
Talking about number 32, Andy Johnson. 3rd down, less than a yard to go. And trying to sneak it forward is Grogan, and he's paying for it. Eventually got him down. I don't know where they're going to mark the forward progress on this one. Grogan really paid for that one. Got pushed around in there. They're going to measure.
Yeah, he looked like he went through a revolving door there. He got a couple of shots from.
Those linemen love it, don't they?
Oh, they love that bonus. That's a bonus shot for the quarterback.
Well, let's see if they got this. We had a lot of measurements in this game. And I believe they got it, but not by much. They did.
They got it by a pebble on the ball.
So at the 38, New England with a new series, and they won't get this one off. We're going to come to the end of the 3rd quarter, as the Patriots are going to let the clock wind down here in Foxborough. And so, after 3 quarters of play from Schaefer Stadium, the score at the end of the 3rd quarter, the New England Patriots 24, the Philadelphia Eagles 14. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Is that right? Pebble, what is that? That's right, isn't it? Yeah, to the Poots.
I didn't think Atlanta would ever give up that many points. You know, they've got a pretty good defense.
Well, they're tough at Pittsburgh. Jeez.
Baltimore's taking the lead again. Playing troop. Oh my cow, look at that.
Tampa.
Well, we have some scores throughout the NFL. Baltimore's taken a 21-10 lead over St. Louis. Jim Hart had a pass picked off, returned 79 yards against him. And Pittsburgh is really laying it on Atlanta today, 31-0. I didn't think the Falcons could have that many points scored on them. So we start the fourth quarter. First down for New England. Steve Grogan is 8 of 15 for 152 yards. Gives to Andy Johnson. Johnson to the 40-yard line. So to bring up second down, and still 7 yards to go.
I'll tell you something. Shelby Jordan tried to block Manny Sistrom that time, number 79. It was like throwing a spitball at a battleship.
From the 41-yard line, that's second down and 7. Westbrook coming in. Where do you get all those? Jackson checks out. Grogan on a play action. Fine fake on the play. Over the middle. Complete to Johnson. Johnson with a first down to the 45-yard line. Andy Johnson to the 45, and New England earmarks of another fine drive.
This is play action fake again. They fake to Johnson, number 32, and he just kind of cruises unless the linebackers run out of the area, and he makes a good inside move and makes a nice gain on the play.
15-yard pickup. That's the second time they've thrown to Johnson after faking to him.
Same fake, but that's the nice thing about when you run well, you can do those kind of things and do it very efficiently.
A new series now for the Patriots from the 45 of Philadelphia. Andy Johnson. And he's got some running room. And Johnson looks like he has another first down. That play looked like it was going to be stopped. It was strung out pretty well, but all of a sudden he made the cut, and there was some running room.
Russ Francis, number 81, watch him on Mike Osborne, 57. That's the key block. And then you see the right guard, Sam Adams, knock out the cornerback in good shape, and that's why the play was successful.
Randy Logan making the tackle. And now from the 35. It'll be second down and about a half yard to go. They didn't quite get the first down. Ivory comes in. Johnson checks out. Halftime score, Cleveland leads New Orleans 14-9. We gave you that Baltimore score, leading the Cardinals 21 also at halftime. 79-yard interception in that game.
Here's a good waist down. See what he does with a second and short. See if he tries to do something on top on this short yardage situation.
In motion to the near side comes Jackson. Grogan play action again on second. Wait a minute. They stopped the play. I don't know what that's all about. Delay a game. They didn't get it off in time. The clock had run down the 30 seconds. So just about the time they snapped the ball, the time expired. That's a 5-yard penalty back to the 40.
Well, those kind of things shouldn't happen, especially in that situation.
Delay.
Well, now Andy Johnson will come back in. Ivory will check out. And I'm sure that Chuck Fairbanks not too happy about that development. He's had 2 drives in the second half. Very impressive, but he hasn't gotten any points with them. Trying to do something about that on this particular series. Second down and 5 now. That changes your play selection.
Yes, it does. You know, neither team has run a draw play so far in this game as much as they've thrown the ball.
Oh! Eagles jumping off. They're going to have to run the play, and Johnson's going to be thrown for a loss. But who was guilty on that one? About 3 Eagles came across at the same moment. See if they were drawn off or they stepped across on their own. I don't see anybody for a New England moving.
Well, I think, you know, as you look back and watch Grogan's head, he moved his head a little bit, which is something that you're not supposed to be able to do. But I think it had an effect on the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles, and as a result, they jumped.
Well, they get the 5 yards back. So they are penalized one way, then they step it back the other way.
Charlie Johnson and Manny Sistron, 65, and Sistron,
Defensive,
number 79.
middle of the line, offside, second down.
See if we can see Grogan move his head.
See it?
Yeah.
Yep, he just moves it just enough, and that is against the rules, but evidently the officials didn't see it.
So now they come to that second down and a short yard again that they had earlier. Cunningham gets the first down. New England right now very content to stay on the ground and grind out some time, keep this 10-point lead going. The Giants and Dallas next. The Giants with a 3-2 record. Dallas with a 3-2 record. Philadelphia with a 3-2 record. That NFC East is tight.
And Charlie Johnson, number 65, made the tackle on that last play.
From the 32-yard line, first down. Grogan to Andy Johnson. And he's not going to go anywhere. Charlie Johnson was over there. Also, Bill Berge, Reggie Wilkes. And they're going to get nothing on that play, but there is a flag at the 30-yard line. So the discussion going on. Everybody trying to listen in. Bob Frederick indicates holding against New England. So they'll step off 10 yards. It'll be a 1st and 20. 12:40 left in the game. You get the feeling, Hank, that Philadelphia needs another break. They need a turnover. They need something to get them in a position now with 10 points down that they can get within 3, get within a touchdown.
Yeah, they have to make something happen with their specialty teams or their defense to get some kind of a big play.
Offensive holding, number 81, first down.
Still waiting to see him throw the ball to Jackson on that crossing pattern underneath. He's got a lot of room. He's been open, as I mentioned several times during the course of this game. They haven't thrown to him. Let's see how they start this situation.
Dennis Harrison, 68, is checked in. He's a rookie from Vanderbilt, 6'8", 275. They're very high on him. And checking out of the game was Manny Sistron. New England has 173 yards rushing, 149 passing, over 300 yards in total offense. Over the middle, Andy Johnson, and he's back to the original line of scrimmage. Making the stop, Bill Berge. And when he makes a stop, he doesn't need any help.
Well, that's a tough pattern to cover, and the back just sits in the backfield. He must be a good actor. He's got to wait and key the linebacker drops. Comes out of there in good shape, reads the linebacker, comes underneath, and is tackled there by Bill Berge, number 66. But he does that very well.
You know, you need a back like Johnson. He's not the kind of guy that's going to maybe bust 180 yards, but you need a guy who can do everything for you. A smart, intelligent football player.
All he does is move the chains for you, and that's what it's all about.
Second down, 11 yards to go. Grogan's got time, and he hits Cunningham. And Cunningham very close to the first down. He may be just short of it. This guy caught 42 passes last year.
That time they're in the zone to the strong side, and the fullback is wide open in that hole. There you see Berge getting his drops and coming up to make the tackle, number 66.
And again, we have another measurement. I don't think I've seen as many measurements in a game as we've had here.
John Sanders, number 26, was also involved in that last play.
And they didn't get this one. They're short. So they're going to move to a third down. Third down and less than a yard to go at the 11:44 mark. New England last year the 9 and just missed the playoffs by a game. The year before they were 11-3 and lost in that controversial game to Oakland. The start of the year, many people figured that they might be the team to beat. And they started out, lost that first game, but losing also to Baltimore. But you get the idea that maybe they're coming together. They've been so impressive.
Yeah, they're putting it together. They really are. They look better every time you see them play.
Third down now. There's the big guy again, number 39. He's got the first down. Hank, you know, it's a tough thing to teach, isn't it, to get a guy to do what he does, the cannonball over the middle like that? He's done it at USC. He's done it in the pros.
Yeah, I think it's something that you don't teach. He has that instinctive ability. But he goes over the top as well as any back that I've ever seen, really.
You've got to protect yourself a little bit. I suppose his size at 6'3", he can do it where some guys can't, but he did that at USC. He's carried that his entire career.
And he jumps through there like he's got springs in his feet.
So a first down outside the 21-yard line. In motion is Jackson. Here's Horace Ivory. A flag, though, has been thrown. Ivory inside the 15-yard line, but a flag thrown. Well, that Ivory is quick.
Yes, he is. And John Sanders, 26, and Berge, 66, were involved in the play.
That's holding against New England.
See, that time they ran a kind of what we call a wham play with the idea of having the fullback help the man on the nose of the center. And Cunningham got a good piece that time, and they had a pretty good hole in that area.
Offensive holding, number 67. First down.
That's Dr. Bill Linkaitis, the 11-year man. You know, the public relations director for the Patriots, Pat Horn, had 2 teeth pulled yesterday by Bill Linkaitis, who's a dentist.
How'd you like to have those big hands in your, in your mouth?
I'll tell you what, you wouldn't fight very long. Grogan, 10 of 18, 168 yards. First and 20 now after the penalty. Up the middle, Cunningham. To the 30-yard line. Well, the Patriots are using up some very valuable time that Philadelphia would like to have. They've been on the defense an awful long time here.
Charlie Johnson, number 65. Bill Berge, number 66, again involved in that play.
Johnson goes out. There's the time ticking away. And Ken Clark replaces him at nose guard. Cunningham now 68 yards and 21 carries. I would say that he's come back. He hurt knee ligaments, and he just hasn't been able to play very much. He did score a big 1-yard touchdown in that win against Oakland. A winning touchdown. 2nd and 18. Grogan, and coming back was Osborne, and Grogan went down. He was buried that time. Dennis Harrison was in there, and also coming in was Carl Hairston. Harrison and Hairston combined on him. And it brings up a 3rd down.
They try to get Johnson in the flat that time, but he didn't have a chance to get rid of the ball because of the pressure by Hairston and Johnson.
So Osborne, there he is, almost had it, but he had to trap it. And so they come to a 3rd down, and Philadelphia now with a chance to stop this drive that seems to be going for a long time, and Grogan's going to call timeout. So Grogan calls timeout. The first timeout for the Patriots here in the second half. 9:50 remaining. The Patriots with a 10-point lead.
They made an announcement on the booth that Richie Zyro was a left-footed field goal kicker. He kicked one with his right foot. I don't know the details to it, but
yeah.
Why would they use him?
That was an error. He just announced.
24-14. 3rd down play. They'll try to go to Johnson again, I bet. They're back.
You know what I don't understand about this team?
What?
Detroit just scored.
Look at that. Can you believe that? Hey, you know what I don't understand about this team? Why they don't throw more to Francis? Huh? Why they don't throw more to Francis?
I don't understand that.
I mean, well, this is a very important time of this football game. 9:50 remaining. It's 3rd down, 18 yards to go for New England. They have a 10-point lead, and Philadelphia would like to stop them right here.
Well, let's see what they do here. Normally, you know, with 3rd and 18, that's a lot of real estate to pick up in one play. They'll either go to the back, Johnson, like they have in the past, with the idea of getting close enough to kick a field goal. They get 3 points here. It's a big 3.
Here we go. Grogan back. Protection is breaking down. He's going to try to scramble. And he gets back, but he's still got 8 yards to go for the first down, but he does get him closer for that field goal.
Yeah, it's the same as throwing the ball to a back in the flat and letting him run for the whatever yardage he can get, because he gets close enough within striking range for the field goal, and I'm sure that's what he wanted to do.
Here's a score that'll surprise you. Detroit is leading Washington 19-14 with a little over 5 minutes left in that game. And Detroit, who just got pasted last week by Green, could end the Redskins' unbeaten string. You never know.
But that's what happens after you win a big one, especially in an emotional game like the Dallas game. You really have to be careful the next week when you play against a team that hasn't won.
37-yard field goal attempt by David Posey is on the way, and that kick is no good. So Posey could have really put this game out of reach.
Yeah, he could have put it into Fraser.
But right now, the Eagles are still in the running. With 9:35 left in the game, Philadelphia will have it when we come back. I tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think they'll try to do it right away. I think they'll try to do something high percentage on first down to move the ball down the field a little bit. Huh? No, I don't think. I think they go to Montgomery if they throw.
I'll tell you right now, I wish they quit throwing those backs in the backfield. They're not doing anything.
I don't have to go down. I don't have to go down. Good.
It's a long game. Look at it. Look at the time. We may not make our airplane. It's 3:43.
Oh, we'll make it.
21 left yet.
Huh?
That's a lot of time. But David Posey just missed a 37-yard field goal. There's the time remaining. The Eagles are down by 10, and they've got a chance yet in this football game as they take over at their own 20-yard line. Ron Jaworski's got a lot of ground to move the football and not a lot of time. But they've come from behind before. Jaworski, Carmichael. Eagles got a first down, and that's a good start.
That really is a good chunk. A good chunk on first down.
Raymond Claiborne making the tackle on Carmichael. You know, you think about covering this 6'8" guy, you need a step ladder.
Yeah, you need a defensive back who is 6'8". But look at Jaworski. Sets up nicely and puts it right on the numbers, and of course Carmichael makes the catch right in front of Claiborne, number 26.
19-yard pickup on the play from the 39 now. First down, Philadelphia. The clock 8:45. This has been a remarkable team, Philadelphia. They've shown great character, and they're again trying to pull one out here. In motion is Montgomery. Jaworski's going to throw to him. Montgomery to the 40, 45, and to the 46-yard line. Well, they just get the guy outside, try to isolate him, and that time it worked for him. It has not been working previous to this time.
Well, they try to put him in a situation where they make a linebacker or a defensive back tackle him in an open field area, which is very difficult. They fake inside to hold the linebacker. And here again, though, you see Montgomery has to jump up in the air to make the catch. Had he just been able to stay on the ground and make the catch and turn and run, he'd have made a lot more yardage on the play.
Does that happen sometime? A guy's got the bazooka for an arm, has a little more trouble throwing those kind of passes?
Well, sometimes he hurries himself a little bit and is not quite as accurate as he should be.
Second down and 3, a pickup of 7. Jaworski to Montgomery. Montgomery cuts it back, first down, and then some. He fumbled the ball, I believe. Wait a minute, may have been blown dead. That's what they're going to say. It's still Philadelphia's best football, as the ball will be at the 46-yard line. Boy, he cut that nicely on that play.
Yeah, Steve King, number 52, made the tackle. Both guards are pulling on the play, 69. He cuts inside in good shape, and makes a good gain on the play. Wade Key, 72, and Woody Peoples, 69, both pulling and doing a good job on that last play.
Greg Boyd is shaken up on the play. He comes out of the game. Hamilton's back in at nose tackle. They did fumble the ball, but it had been blown dead. Montgomery now 69 yards for the day. Kenny Payne in motion. Jaworski's got lots of time. Carmichael. Boy, and Jaworski is just outraged at himself, jumping up and down. He knew that he missed a golden opportunity because Carmichael was open.
Yes, he was. He was lined up on the left side. It was a crossing pattern. He came all the way across the field. Good play action fake. Does a good job of selling a run on the play. Plenty of ball. But see, he didn't throw it like he normally throws the ball. His feet weren't in a good position to throw the ball, and as a result, he threw it falling away and threw it right over the top.
2nd and 10, but after that play, this reminder, the Giants and Dallas coming next. After that play, Jaworski was jumping up and down, pounding his helmet. He's now 12 of 28, 148 yards. Protection is there. Now he's going to run. And coming from behind was Richard Bishop. He had enough time, but just nobody cleared.
Yeah, Richard Bishop broke through there in good shape. That right defensive end. Watch him get penetration. McGee goes right beyond the passer. But Bishop, 64, makes the tackle on Ron Jaworski.
So it's 3rd down, 13 yards to go. The clock, 6:51 and moving. Oh, a very, very important stage of this football game. Actually, that's not quite 15 yards. It's about 3rd down and 13. So Carmichael comes to the bottom of the screen.
He might try to go to the tight end here. Let's see what happens.
Jaworski on the 3rd down, over the middle, and you called it, but Presley fumbles the ball. Steve Nelson separated it, and it's New England's football.
Boy, the inconsistency of a call, it looked like, let's really take another look at it. I don't know whether he had already possession long enough to call it a completed pass or not. That's close.
Well, anyway, New England has the football. That's the 4th fumble that the Eagles have lost this afternoon. What with 6:15 remaining.
He went to the tight end, didn't
he? You called it. I don't know. He was bent over. Maybe they figured he had it. I tell you, Philadelphia today has made more mistakes than I think they made the whole year.
Yeah.
I thought we had a ball game there.
Looks like they're waiting for something to happen today instead of making it happen.
Yeah.
Really, you know, they weren't as aggressive as they have been. But I guarantee you that team's got something to do with it. They're a hell of a football team.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Final. Jets beat Buffalo.
45-14. Jeez.
Chuck Fairbanks there with a headset on. He's 6 years a coach. He came into this year with a 35-35 record after 6 brilliant years as the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners. First down now after the fumble recovery by Nelson, which, by the way, is his 3rd fumble recovery of the day. Johnson looks like he might throw that football. He's looking. That's what he can do so well, is a run-pass option. Boy, he paid for that, though, as he was hit very hard. Progress to the 45-yard line, or to bring up 2nd down and 7.
It was straight-ahead blocking on the right side with John Hanna, the left guard, pulling on the play, number 73, and Frank LeMaster, number 55, made the stop.
Hank, we were talking about the last break. They've had a lot of mistakes, maybe as many mistakes today as they've had any time of the year.
Well, I tell you, this New England team has something to do with that too, Gary. They're really a talented football team, and they're playing extremely well today.
There's a flag on the play. Ivory carries straight ahead. We have a final. The Jets defeated the Buffalo Bills 45-14. Here's the score from St. Louis. Baltimore leading the Cardinals 21-17. There's Gerald Wilson, who's had a tough afternoon punting the football, that little screen. Who was the first to use that screen?
I think the first time I ever saw the screen used was at Baltimore, and they used it with Raymond Berry for pass receiving purposes. And then since that time, of course, in the 50s, why a lot of other people have made some progress as far as using it for kicking and that kind of thing, but basically it was used for receiving.
Well, how did they use it? How did Barry use it for receiving?
Well, they had a device like that was hanging from the goalpost. That was the first net thing that we saw, and then they
illegal motion, number 23 of the offense, second down.
Then they used that same principle with the kickers and put a device like that on the sideline so they could warm up.
That was Ivory who carried the ball, who moved before the ball was snapped. So it's second down now, 12 yards to go from the 40. 5.5 minutes left in this game. 10-point lead for New England. Grogan. Andy Johnson just couldn't get up to it. Trying to throw over Reggie Wilkes, and now Grogan's upset at himself for not throwing the ball well. That's a third down.
He was wide open, and here again, see, he didn't set up as well as he normally has been setting up as far as his feet and legs are concerned, and threw the ball a little bit falling away and threw the ball way over the top.
I suppose, Hank, you never can run repetition enough, can you? You've got your veteran quarterbacks that'll do that once in a while. Won't set up, won't use what you need.
Yeah, it's amazing. You hurry yourself, and that time Johnson, number 32, was wide open. He just threw the ball way over the top because he wasn't in the proper position to throw the ball like he should have been able to throw it.
So it's a third down, 3rd and 12. Grogan scrambling out. Dennis Harrison giving chase. Intercepted. Beautiful interception by Herman Edwards. He fumbles the ball, and Philadelphia's recovered it. Carlos Pennywell, the rookie from Grambling, was the intended receiver, and Herman Edwards with his second interception of the year.
You know, he had a chance to make that reception, except that he waited a little bit too long to get the ball downfield, and Edwards was able to react while the ball was in flight and make this great interception.
So the Philadelphia Eagles get the football. They're still alive with 5:13 left. I tell you, they're having a tough time hanging on to the football today. I've never seen anything like it. 31, do you say? Boy, I'd love to see him win that. 30 seconds. There's the story here in Schaefer Stadium as Eagles have the football at the 12-yard line. They trail by 10. Jaworski, look out. He gets rid of it remarkably. I don't know how he did it. That shows you something. The way Jaworski with McGee just draped all over him was able to get rid of that football.
And McGee was anchored way outside. Look at the outside position he's got. Makes an outside-inside move and really puts a lot of pressure on Jaworski.
That was Montgomery almost made the catch. I don't know how he averted a long loss on that play. There's McGee. McGee has really, in the second half, been a factor in this football game.
He really comes off the line smoking.
He was a former Chicago Bear, a third-round draft pick in '71. He started 3 years for them and then moved over here on a trade, and what a good one that's been for New England. 2nd and 10. Jaworski back again. Carmichael too tall. And what is too tall for Carmichael? That means it's up in the airways. Tim Fox defending on the play. Stan Walters, excellent pass blocker. Probably one of the best in the NFL. He's been playing with a bad ankle. Cleveland Franklin now in the lineup.
That time Jerry Sizemore, number 76, did a much better job of blocking Tony McGee. Much better pass protection on the play.
That's Middlebrook, 81, who's checked into the lineup. So it's a 3rd down and 10. 5 minutes left in this game. The Eagles have not given up on this, but they've been their own worst enemy. Having a tough time hanging on to the football. 4 fumbles that they've lost today. 3 of them recovered by Steve Nelson. 3rd down and 10. Jaworski. I don't know. I guess the intended receiver is Middlebrook. So it's going to bring up a 4th down.
The toughest thing in football is to have to throw when they know you're going to throw and have to throw consistently. I don't care how good you are and what kind of people you have. It's very tough to execute that kind of a responsibility in this situation, especially in this part of the field.
The Redskins have taken the lead over Detroit, 21-19. Joe Theismann, with 1:24 left in the game, threw a 25-yard touchdown pass to John McDaniel. So the Skins are being pushed to the limit as they try to win their 6th in a row. Rick Ingalls to kick. And a fair catch is made by Dick Kahn at the 40-yard line. And so New England now has everything going their way. A 10-point lead. They have the football and only 4 minutes and 46 seconds left. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, and what a show it is. Has some more fascinating stories to just shed some light on the American scene. And then they're going to invite you to take the singles scene with Mary Tyler Moore and company. More laughter is next on the agenda, All in the Family. And Alice. And capping off tonight on CBS is a great new drama, Cause. So keep your dial tuned right here on CBS tonight. From the 40-yard line, gives it off to Cunningham. And somebody's lost a shoe out there as Cunningham is dropped back at the 35-yard line. Here's another final. Pittsburgh has defeated Atlanta 31-7. So they're unbeaten. 6-0 for the Steelers. The Redskins trying to move to 6-0. The ball at the 44-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 14, a loss of 4. And there's time ticking away. Andy Johnson has come out of the lineup. Horace Ivory has replaced him. Grogan to Russ Francis. And Francis, boy, is he tough to bring down. 6'6", 242 pounds, one of the premier tight ends. Reggie Wilkes finally did it. And sometimes, Hank, you wonder why they don't throw more to number 81.
Yeah, it's amazing he doesn't catch more passes because he is really tough to handle. He's so big and he's strong and he's got good range and you know, he's hard to tackle. Here's another play-action pass, the same one they like to throw with people coming underneath. There you see him. And he's hard to tackle in an open field. He's so big and strong, and he uses his facilities so well. He uses his shoulders and knocks people off tackles.
He only had 16 catches last year, so he is ahead of last year's pace anyway. 3rd down, still almost 10 yards to go. Grogan, I'll tell you, Cunningham had to know that he was being zeroed in on that play. As LeMaster was coming over, it'll bring up a 4th down. So the Patriots can't put it away yet with 3:09. They'll have to kick it. Thus far, Gerald Wilson in this game has a 30-yard average on 3 punts. Wilson started the year with the Houston Oilers in a battle for the job there. He was cut and then joined this team in the second weekend of the year against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Gerald is a home run kicker. He's a knockout kicker. It's very difficult for him to try to kick a control kind
At 73, win with the Chiefs. And he gets off a high kick. They're going to let that one hit. There's a flag on the play, however, and that ball's going to be down at the 1-yard line. However, we may have a roughing or running into the kicker penalty. Pete Brock was the guy that downed the ball. Let's see if we can pick this one up, Hank, as they rush Gerald Wilson.
Yeah, it looks like Dennis Franks, number 53. We're not sure.
Walked into him, though. It's always a tough call, you know, whether guys blocked into the kicker or not.
53.
That's who that is. It's Dennis Franks from Michigan. So that'll be an automatic first down. And that's just about going to do it as far as the Eagles are concerned as they move the ball to the 5. Let's see, it's roughing or running into the kicker.
Running into the kicker, number 53. First down.
They both have automatic first downs, but a roughing the kicker is a 15-yarder. Running into the kicker is a 5-yarder.
Absolutely right.
And so from the 35-yard line now, the Patriots are going to try to put the lid on this one. They'll move to 4-2. They play Cincinnati, who's still looking for their first win, and they play tomorrow night against Miami. Drogan to Cunningham, and Cunningham to the 22-yard line. About a yard short of that first down. It's been a frustrating afternoon for the Eagles. They dropped a pass that looked like it might go for 6, and then turned around and got burned with a 57-yarder. They fumbled 4 times, losing 4. They have never given up in this game, but they have not really mechanically played the type of football that produced 3 straight wins for them. As we approach the 2-minute warning, Cunningham now with 73 yards rushing. Look at this, Hank. Green Bay 17, Chicago nothing.
They're amazing. You know, you watch them play, and you're not that impressed with them, but they're doing a great job.
Here's Horace Ivory. Ivory hit hard. Boy, he really got stuffed on that play. There's Chuck Fairbanks and his crew. John Polanchek on the right-hand side. Jim Ringo, who joined the staff this year. And Chuck, I'm sure, very pleased with this win that's just about to be concluded. We have 2 minutes remaining. The 2-minute warning is here. The Patriots on top by 10. I'm going to tell you something. That really surprises me.
Yeah.
Steve Luke. They've been picking off a lot of that Buchanan.
Yep. Out
against San Diego. It'll be 5-1. Final. Well, we just had a final. The Redskins picked up their win against the Detroit Lions, 21-19. So they will remain unbeaten, as will Pittsburgh. And now the ball at the 22.5-yard line, 2 minutes remaining. On a first down, Andy Johnson. And Johnson to the 17-yard line. So we mentioned earlier, Green Bay leading Chicago 17-0. If the Packers would win that, they're all alone in first place in the NFC Central Division. They'd be 5-1. This has been that kind of year. We've had some real surprises develop. The Washington Redskins, the Packers.
The Bears are really tough. They win 3 games in a row, and then they lost 2 games in 6 days.
And now they're almost ready to lose their 3rd in a row. So the time with 1:45, a timeout has been called. Philadelphia, they're going to have their 3-game winning streak snapped here this afternoon. They'll return to Vet Stadium against the Washington Redskins, and they'll be given that opportunity to end that winning streak. You know, the first time they played the Redskins, They lost 35-30. It was a wild game, and you know, the Redskins won that on a gadget play. You might remember they had Riggins running, flipped back to Theismann, and he threw one down the field. So you know that's going to be a good game.
It's really going to be a must game for Philadelphia, especially after losing this one against the New England team today.
Well, they were hoping they could get by this one and go in there 4-2, but it's going to even them up at 3-3. The Eagles last year with a 5-9 record. They're headed for a very fine year, though. Here's Cunningham. And little or nothing. The ball might be loose in there. I believe it is, and it is. Philadelphia's got it.
You know, Cunningham is a great running back, and he's done some good things today, but he still isn't running with the same reckless abandon that I've seen him running with in the past. I think he's still a little concerned about the knee injury, but he, on only one occasion today did he really blow in there tough and run through a pile and come out the other end.
John Shiro's the guy that fell on the ball. So for the 15-yard line, a last-ditch effort for the Eagles with 1:38 left. Chuck Fairbanks not too happy about that turnover. Shiro, that's his second fumble recovery in this quarter.
He's a heads-up football player,
yes,
isn't he?
He is. He's a fine addition to this team. Of course, he's the guy that led Dick Vermeil's team to those Rose Bowl upsets.
Well, that's the nice thing about coaching somebody like that. You know, ordinarily you wouldn't consider him maybe, but he knows all about him, and he's going to be a big asset to this team.
So Jaworski's going to fill the air with footballs, and he dumps it off to Mike Hogan, and Hogan gets about 5 yards to the 20. Doug Baudouin over there to make the tackle. It'll bring up a 2nd and 5. Our thanks to our producer, Mr. Bill Barnes, our director, John McDonough. They've kept us very busy in this game today with the shots and all the information as we come with 1 minute and 12 left. Jaworski dumps it off to Hogan again, and Hogan doesn't get much. He might have gotten a yard. Steve Zabel read that play very well. You know, you're talking about coaches in college. There's an example. Zabel played for Chuck Fairbanks. He has 5 Oklahoma players on his team.
And that's the real advantage of having coached somebody like that, because you know specifically they might not have all the size that you'd like for a player to have and other ingredients, but you know enough about him that you take him because he's a good team player and can contribute to your football team in a lot of different ways.
So the Eagles use another timeout. They have one remaining with 57 seconds left in the game. Well, you look back to this Philadelphia team. Before today, they had lost 2 games by a total of 7 points, and both of them have been to unbeaten teams, L.A. and Washington.
Well, really, they were very much in this game with the play they had to Kenny Payne in the end zone.
That seemed to be the turning point.
Yeah, that was a turning point. They dropped the ball in the end zone. Then they fumbled the snap at midfield, Jaworski and Guy Morris. And the next thing you know, they were another 7 points behind by the big touchdown play by the New England team.
When you play a team like New England, you don't get very many opportunities like that. And they had it. They did not convert it. And then it turned around, and they went 57 yards. A final, Tampa Bay defeated Kansas City 10-3. Tampa Bay, I think that's their 3rd win. Here's Jaworski. Keith Krefley, and Krefley's going to roll to the end zone.
He's a great competitor.
So Tampa Bay with their 3rd win, Hank, so that's a new milestone for Tampa Bay.
Yes, and they're going to be a factor in that race.
36 seconds. Jaworski's just not going to quit. Here they go again. This time it's Hogan. He gets out of bounds, picks up about 4. Baudouin over there knocks him out of bounds. 30 seconds left. So Tampa Bay, if they can keep that quarterback of theirs, Doug Williams, healthy, they've got a chance to be a pretty good football team. That's a 6th catch in this game by Mike Hogan.
Well, they're playing so well defensively, and if they get any offensive fireworks from their great quarterback, the young prospect they have, Doug Williams, they could create a real problem for the people in that division.
Carmichael comes to the bottom of the screen, flanked out. 2nd down and 5. Jaworski kind of rolling out this time. Cranks up. Carmichael can't hang on, and Claiborne was there. Looked like he might have been looking around on that one as he saw the guy coming up at him.
Here he comes across. And really, the ball was just thrown a little bit too high, even for Carmichael. And that's hard to do.
Boy, it is. So Jaworski now 17 for 37. He's thrown 37 passes this afternoon, 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Carmichael keeping his string alive today. He's now caught a pass, at least one, in 86 straight, and catching, of course, a 28-yard touchdown pass just before the end of the first half. Jaworski on 3rd and 5. He's going to run with it, and he's got the first down and gets out of bounds. There's an idea of showing presence of mind. Jaworski knew where he had to go, got out of bounds, knew where the stick is, and with 16 seconds, still with a last gasp effort here.
You know, I tell you something about this team. They really expressed a lot of poise and a lot of confidence, even though they've had to play catch-up football almost all afternoon. They've done a lot of things very well, except they haven't caught some passes when they had to catch them.
I tell you, when you've had an emotional game like Miami and then coming from behind with the Colts, it's tough sometimes to be as emotional maybe that 3rd time or 4th time around, and that shows up sometimes in drop passes.
Yeah, it really does. The concentration span is not as high as it should be, and that's the problem.
First down. Jaworski. Carmichael. Almost intercepted by Kahn again. That was almost the same replay of before.
Same pattern coming across the middle. It was a little high. He should have had that one, however. He had a chance to make the catch and dropped it.
So we still have 8 seconds left. Philadelphia is a well-conditioned football team. That's what has really won some games for them in the 4th quarter. And they're making the Patriots play every last second of this game. They're just not giving up on it.
You have to give the Patriots a lot of credit, too, Gary. They're a fine team and well-conditioned, well-disciplined, and they're just starting to come on, I think. As I mentioned earlier, you know, I've seen them play 3 times. This is the 3rd time, and this is the most impressive performance they've had to date.
They were unbeaten in the preseason, 4-0. And then they stubbed their toe early. And now they're going to win their 3rd in a row. This might be the last play. Let's see. 8 seconds left. Sets up the screen. Complete to Hogan. And Hogan's not going to get out of bounds. He fumbles it out of bounds, but there's no time remaining. So it's all over here in Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. The New England Patriots move their record to 4-2. They win their 3rd in a row. On the other hand, the Eagles' 3-game winning streak comes to an end as New England defeats the Eagles 24-14. Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after the word from your local station.